Prologue. Crenshaw. God damn it, I hate this place. I think to myself as I walk down the hallway. Even the dozens of pictures framed on the walls can't mask the dread. No one likes hospitals, but I loathe them, especially this one. They say it has the best pediatric oncology program in the area, but I want Nick to be in the best program in the country, not the area. My phone dings in my pocket, alerting me that it's time for Nick's treatment, so I move faster. My chest tightens at the thought of him sitting alone. When I round the corner, I see one familiar face. Nurse Evie gives me a bright smile and waves me back. I scurry through the doors and stop to wash my hands before following her.
Crenshaw, he's been excited about you coming all morning. As soon as your mom left, he started in about you coming home from college.
She pats my arm lovingly.
He hasn't shut up.
He just wants to win my money. I take the stack of cards from my back pocket. But today is a new game. He's going to learn gin rummy.
He'll love that. Really love that.
She gives me another smile. Nick is already in his chair with the nurse working on his catheter when I walk in. He gives me a fist pump, and I run my hand over his now bald head before sitting. What's up, fighter? Well, I'm hoping after the treatment you can spring me. No can do. Doctor told Mom it would be at least tomorrow before you can go home. I'm here as long as you want, though. Thought we could learn some new games. I place the cards on the table between us and lean back to slide the curtain closed. Leave it open today, he tells me as another nurse comes in and starts the process of cleaning his lines and drawing his labs. I look around, trying to find anything to watch but the woman poking and prodding him. My throat starts to close, and I swallow down the emotions swelling inside. This is not fair. Life is not fair. He's 14, for God's sake. He should be worrying about what he's doing on fall break, not cell counts and hemoglobin levels. If you don't stop, you're not coming back, he says through clenched teeth, the nurse drawing blood. Stop what? I struggle to sound normal. I see it, Ren. You're easy to read. Mom and Dad can barely hold it together. I need you and Mathis to be stronger. You're our baby brother. It hurts us to see you like this. I get it, but can you try? Yes, I agree, guiltily.
Let's get this party rolling. Did you save me a seat?
A melodic, sweet voice sings behind me. I turn and watch a beautiful young girl who looks about Nick's age plop in the recliner next to us. She drops a bag, and Nurse Evie starts prepping her for chemo. Nick gives her a chin lift, and then she turns to me. The instant our eyes meet, my heart lurches and skips a beat. One dimple dents into her right cheek, highlighting her whole face. I can't move. My eyes are trapped in her gaze. Never have I seen the unique color staring back at me, a mix between gray and ice blue. It's hypnotic. Ren! Nick hisses until I break the trance and look back to him. Stop staring.
It's okay, Nicky. Everyone has a different reaction. I should have worn a hat.
The girl speaks softly. The earlier joy vanished. Nicky? Reaction? What the hell? She moves her small bony hand to her head, which is covered in a pink skull bandana. Then it hits me. She thinks I was staring at her lack of hair. I open my mouth to explain, but Nick speaks over me. No, it's not okay. I didn't ask him to come to be a total dickhead. Both the nurses shush him as the girl starts to giggle. Finally, I clear my mind and find my words. I wasn't looking at your head. It's your eyes. I've never seen any so unique, so incredibly exceptional. She starts to blush.
Which brother are you?
Crenshaw.
Lisbeth Hastings.
She offers her hand, and I shake it gently.
Nicky told me a lot about you.
I raise an eyebrow at my brother and mouth Nicky to him with a questioning glance. He doesn't answer, but shrugs without care and settles back as his treatment starts. I stay quiet and watch Nurse Evie do her assessments. When she's done, she runs her hand over Lisbeth's bandana-covered head lovingly and gives her an encouraging smile.
"I'll be around if you need me,"
she tells both Nick and Lisbeth before walking away.
"We'll be right here, kicking cancer's ass,"
Lisbeth replies, fist-pumping the air. I drop my head to hide my chuckle. Her spunk amuses me. Nick's grin tells me he thinks the same. "Well, Lisbeth, it's nice to meet you," I tell her. She reaches in her bag, then gives a little squeal. "What's wrong?" Nick jolts up, looking around nervously.
"I forgot my math assignment, and I've got a test next week."
"I've got mine in my room. We can go over it later."
"Okay."
She relaxes back in the chair. My head spins with the fact that these two young kids are getting chemotherapy and discussing schoolwork. Who the hell cares about school when you're fighting for your life? "Ren, you're doing it again. Your face is twisted." Nick points to me, and I shake out of my thoughts. "I'm shocked that you two are so worried about school."
"Well, I'm actually thinking about doing the homeschool thing. We already do so many of our assignments from home since we have to watch our immune systems. Maybe I'll make it official,"
Lisbeth says, but doesn't sound convincing. "You can't do that. We're going to get through this together. I'll be there to protect you." "Protect her?" I repeat, wondering if I heard him correctly. Curiosity mixes with alarm as different scenarios run through my mind. "Yeah, some bitch in school is giving her a hard time. It's stupid and childish. She has me now and nothing's going to happen." I don't correct his language because I don't give a shit if he wants to cuss.
"It'll be harder to get away from her, especially now that all my hair is gone and they've prescribed the steroids. She'll have a lot of ammunition when I look like a roly-poly."
What the fuck? I swing my head in time to catch her wipe a lone tear that slipped out. Her breath hitches, and Nick reaches across me, laying his hand on her arm. "Best friends take care of each other. I'll take care of you." Pride swells inside, witnessing his first crush. He catches my eye and frowns. "What?" "Nothing. Just watching you and your new girlfriend," I tease. The air around us stills in silence until Lisbeth's laughter cuts through. Nick follows until they're both gasping for breath. "No way! We're really just friends. When I was admitted 2 days ago, I was originally placed in a room with her while they ran some tests. I recognized her from school and we started talking.
By the end of the night, I declared we'd be best friends forever. He stuck with me."
She finishes his statement. I searched their faces for any sign of attraction, but there's none there. "Huh," I say. "But, like I was saying, there's a bitch at school who's giving her a hard time. This chick's ex-boyfriend asked Liz to go to the homecoming game with him. That's when it started. She's been awful since then. But when we go back to school, I'm handling it." "Aren't you guys a little young to be dating?" I cringe because I know what was on my mind in high school, and Lisbeth seems too sweet for the horny mind of teenage boys.
"It doesn't matter, because when I started to lose my hair, he backed off. But he was gross anyway. Totally skeezer."
She scrunches her nose in disgust. She may say he's gross, but her face doesn't hide the hurt. She's a beautiful girl without hair, and he's a fucking idiot. That dickhead isn't getting near her again. He's a loser.
"Changing the subject now," she huffs. "Tell me more about you, Crenshaw."
"My friends and family call me Ren." She squints her eyes and shakes her head.
"Nah, I think I like Shaw better. It doesn't remind me of a little shaved chihuahua."
"Shaw?"
"It's sexy, too. So there you go. New nickname."
"Exactly how old are you? What do you know about sexy?"
"Oh, please, I'm almost 15, and I know sexy when I see it. And you, Shaw Bennett, are sexy."
She uses air quotes with no shame. Heat creeps up my cheeks at her statement. I can't remember the last time I've been embarrassed, but this sassy little pixie has me blushing. "Great, now you've given him a bigger ego." Nick sighs. "But she's big on nicknames, so I guess you're stuck with it." "I like it, Lisbeth. To you, I'm Shaw." A smile spreads across her face and reaches all the way down to my soul. The light in her eyes shines so bright, they sparkle. Like my little brother, I have the crucial need to protect her from the bullies and jackasses at their school. Tell me more about this girl giving you a hard time, I ask gently.
It's stupid, really. She's a junior and thinks she's hot shit. Apparently, she's not over her ex-boyfriend. The day he asked me out, I was suddenly the focus of her nastiness. Even when I turned him down, she still found a way to label me a slut.
There's a bite in her words, reminding me how cruel and callous high school girls can be.
I mean, really,
she continues.
I'm a cancer patient with a lot more on my mind than a stupid football game.
Hey! Nick slaps his hand to his heart, acting hurt. There is nothing stupid about football.
I may rethink my stance on the sport since my new BFF is a rising star.
That's better. He winks and reaches for the deck of cards. Now you can watch me beat this lug in poker.
No way! I asked him a question. It's his turn to answer.
I look at her, trying to remember her question.
I asked you to tell me about yourself.
Not much to tell. Junior in college, pretty sure I'm going to law school. After that, who knows?
Snorbore! Tell me something more interesting, like where you'll take me on our first vacation together.
I whip my head to her and then back to my brother, who is grinning like a loon. What? I stutter.
Where are you taking me? I hope it's tropical. I love the beach.
I suck in a breath, not sure how to respond. Is she serious? Nick starts laughing and gives her a high five. Well played, he tells her.
The look on your face is priceless.
She points to me. Don't worry, Ren. She did the same thing to me. It's her way of getting our minds off the cancer. I lean back and blow out a breath, then smile at her. You're a cool chick. Not many people can shock me.
Part of my charm. My parents are constantly rolling their eyes.
You do seem like a handful.
I'm blunt and spicy. It makes for more fun.
I bet. I agree. She chews on her lip and stares at me intently, her face now unreadable. Then she speaks.
I think I know what you should do after law school. Do you like sports?
I shoot her my best, are you kidding look.
You should do the fancy law school thing, but afterwards come out and be a sports agent with the legal knowledge. You can manage Nicky's career when he goes pro after college. But you have to make sure he gets drafted somewhere awesome, preferably close to home. He can kick some of his teammates your way. We live in Miami, so there are tons of athletes here. You can build a business close to us.
Her statement surprises me again. She knows of Nick's dream to be a professional football player? He's very quiet about his goal, especially since he's missing his freshman season because of the fucking cancer. I look over to him, seeing he's now biting on his thumbnail, watching me. But her idea sends a jolt of excitement through me. She's laid out exactly what I want to do. I think you may have carved my career path, I tell her, and place my hand on Nick's knee. Your girlfriend is pretty smart.
Ew, stop with the girlfriend thing. He's not my type, she sighs. I'm into older guys.
This time, when she wiggles her eyebrows, I get her teasing and laugh with them. We spend the next 2 hours joking around and playing poker. When I run out of money, I have to give my hat to Lisbeth as payment. She seems satisfied until she starts to pale, and sweat breaks out on her forehead. Nick leans over and looks in her bag, then cusses under his breath. She needs a Coke, he tells me. She loves Coke. I jump up, ready to do whatever it takes to make her feel better.
Shaw?
She says weakly. I turn back and suck in a breath at her now exhausted appearance.
I want a nickname too.
Without a beat, it comes to me. Busy. You'll be busy. She nods and closes her eyes. Nick gives a small smile. I like Busy. She'll be our Busy forever. I walk to the cafeteria with a heavy heart. My brother has had 2 days with this precious girl, and has already shared his deepest dreams. I've spent a little over 2 hours with her, and she has suggested a path that will shape my entire life. She's sweet, funny, spunky, and gorgeous. The way Nick looks at her tells me this girl is going to be in his life forever, which means she'll be in all our lives. She made him smile and laugh during this shitty time. She made me relax when I thought it was impossible. Just being in the room with her brought me happiness. She has a natural effervescence that eases anyone lucky enough to be in her presence. A smile tugs on my lips as I think about her calling me sexy. She's dangerous. If I was 5 years younger, I'd be crawling at her feet. One thing's for sure. Lisbeth Busy Hastings has left an imprint on my heart.
Busy. I should kill Nicky for neglecting to mention his oldest brother was the most gorgeous man to walk this planet. One look at him and my entire inside started to flutter. It's love. Instant love. Or infatuation. That's probably it, infatuation. He's probably got a girlfriend. A man like him can't be single, and regardless of my age, I'll never stand a chance with a man like Shaw. He'll always remember meeting me during a chemo treatment when I'm bald and sick. Not to mention my stupid, corny joke about taking me somewhere tropical. Gah, I'm such a dork. He probably thinks I'm a nutcase and will convince Nicky that I've got too many screws loose. That body, that hair, those eyes. I could get lost in his eyes. The deep golden honey, the shades of green. Hazel is my new favorite color. And chocolate brown. His hair is chocolate brown. He's the opposite of Nicky in almost every way. Standing tall and built, the muscles of his arms bulged through his light sweater. I tried not to stare, but when he looked away, I took the opportunity to size him up. He's perfect. There's no use fighting it. Even now, never having a boyfriend or even a first kiss, I know. I'm in love with Shaw Bennett.
Chapter 1. 10 years later. Crenshaw. I open my eyes and immediately sense something's not right. This is not my house, and the hint of stale perfume triggers my brain. My stomach twists at the stench, reminding me of the body lying next to me. Sasha. What the fuck was I thinking? I roll to my side and see the alarm clock reads 4 in the morning. Jesus, I fell asleep here? My head spins, trying to remember exactly how I ended up in this bed. Last night comes back to me, and I swallow down the burn. Busy had a blind date, so Nick, Mathis, and I went to the bar to check out the man she was meeting. What kind of asshole plans a first date at a bar? She deserves a 5-star restaurant, where she can be wined and dined while the dickhead can appreciate being in her presence. We tried to explain to her he was already a douche for his choice of places, but she ignored us and agreed to meet him there. She told us we were being overprotective with pure defiance in her eyes, so I backed off. I didn't have to worry long, because Nick got us a table in the VIP section upstairs so we could watch without being noticed. She walked in with her usual confidence, looking beautiful, with her dimple popping and the smile that can stop hearts. Her date greeted her with a kiss on the cheek, and all 3 of us gave a low growl. He was dressed in a full suit, on a Friday night, in a beach bar. Fucking dipwad. They sat in a corner table, allowing us full view. She laughed often, but it never reached her eyes. In all the years she has been in our lives, I knew how to read her. He's going to slide and burn, my brother Mathis predicts. He's nowhere near good enough, Nick claims. She's going to be nice, but he's toast, I state with certainty. Yep, we've done this before. Busy has no idea, but at least one of us is an invisible chaperone when she has a blind date. Tonight, we all 3 happen to be free. We watch as she goes through the motions of laughing, smiling, and pretending to be interested in the conversation. Then she sends Nick a message, which is his cue to save her. Nick chuckles as he calls her. She takes the call and does an Oscar-worthy job of looking distraught before apologizing to the poor sap. He pays the bill and walks her out. When she gets in her car, she sends Nick a message that she's safe and on her way home. "Okay, time to party." Nick hands us shots. "This is my off week and I'm fucking ready to get drunk with my brothers." Famous last words. We partied into the night, knowing Busy was safe, and somehow I ended up with Sasha. She was hot, horny, and easy. I'd made it clear the first time we hooked up that I was not looking for anything serious. She went along with that. But last night, she seemed different. I should have been more aware, knowing she was a bad idea, but I let my liquor and my dick make my decisions. Now I have to live with them. I move away looking for my clothes. An empty condom wrapper lays on the floor next to her bra. Thank God I wasn't drunk enough to forget that. Once I pull on my pants, she rolls over and gives me a seductive stare, her eyes screaming sex.
"You trying to sneak out?"
She reaches for me. "Need to get home."
"You know, it's not unacceptable to stay over. Maybe take me to breakfast? Ask me out on a real date?"
Shit. There it is. Fuzzy memories now become clear, and I remember her overly aggressive behavior last night. She wants more from me. Time to end this and get out now before it gets ugly. I'm not into dating right now, you know that.
"Ren, cut the shit. We're both adults here. We've been hooking up for a while. I think it's time to take the next step. I want exclusivity."
Chills run down my spine. The word itself has me wanting to hyperventilate. We've hooked up a total of twice, and both are hazy, drunk memories. I'm not opposed to the idea of exclusivity, but Sasha's not the one to get it. The girl who gets all of me is going to be someone special, someone remarkable. She stares at me with wide eyes, waiting for my response to her absurd demand. I throw on my shirt and shuffle my feet into my shoes, praying my keys and phone are in my pocket. I need out of here immediately. Alcohol or not, this is the last time I'll put myself in this position with her. I do a quick memory check. My car is at the bar, which is about 8 blocks from here. Sasha, I've told you before, that's not what this was.
That's complete bullshit, and you know it. We'd be perfect together. We're both driven and ambitious. We understand each other.
She whips around and gets up, reaching for her robe at the end of the bed. I inwardly cringe at her words. Does she really think we're anything alike? I've worked my ass off for everything I have. At the age of 20, I was faced with losing my baby brother, and it felt like my heart was breaking every single second of the day until he went into remission. My family means everything to me. Sasha is high maintenance, demanding, and possibly one of the most spoiled women I've ever met. She was given a cushy job in her family's law firm after graduation, and doesn't know the meaning of hard work. She's never faced a problem head-on. I start toward her door, trying to make an exit before she really blows up.
"Don't you walk out on me. It's time you make a choice. I'm not a $2 hooker that's satisfied with a quick fuck every few weeks."
Few weeks? More like every few months. I've never treated you like a $2 hooker. Pretty sure we discussed my view on getting into a relationship before we ever had sex.
Obviously that's changed since you keep coming back for more.
I really should have thought this through better. Coming home with her was a huge mistake. She's been blatant about her attraction to me, but I've held strong on my refusal of getting into any kind of relationship. Sasha, I'm sorry if I gave you the wrong impression, but you and me? Not gonna happen.
Wrong impression? Fucking me out of convenience when it suits you? Well, that stops now. I deserve better. What exactly is your hang-up? Is it work? Because I have a goddamn job too.
My hang-up? My hang-up is that my heart doesn't skip a beat each time I see her. She has no clue what makes me tick or lights my fire. I know it makes me a total dickhead, but there's no feeling at all except knowing she's an easy lay. Even then, I've been drunk each time we've fucked. Need to go, I repeat, and avoid looking at her.
You're going to regret those words, Ren Bennett. I could be the best thing that has ever happened to you.
I practically run out of her house. Lesson learned. even if my dick only gets released from my hand for a while. Stay the fuck away from Sasha Crane. Get me $3 million and I'll get you a contract with a signature. I tell the rep on the other line, then wait for his excuses. As if it's a common script, this guy spouts off the same shit I hear every day negotiating endorsement deals. Everyone wants the big names, but nobody wants to pay. This time, though, they want Nick, and I don't budge. This guy's voice drones on, and my eyes start to close until my assistant Gail bangs on the window between our offices. She makes the motion to wrap it up and shoots me a knowing look. Hate to cut this short, but a situation has come up. Call me when you get your head out of your ass. Having Nick Bennett promote your product isn't cheap. The preseason starts in a few weeks. Don't forget he's got the best arm in the league right now. His defenders are protective and his receivers on fire. You want the best? You pay. I drop the receiver and look back up to see Busy walking through the office in her nursing scrubs. She stops to give Gail a hug and talks for a few seconds. Gail's eyes slice to mine, and I go on alert. When Busy turns to me, I know there are about 10 seconds to get her in my arms before she loses it. I round my desk as she comes straight to me. As soon as I have her firmly in my grip, she bursts into tears. Gail brings in a bottle of water, then closes my door and initiates the privacy shades. I slide my hands up and unlatch the clip holding her hair on top of her head. My fingers work through her thick waves until they gently massage her scalp. This is one of many soothing motions I've discovered helps to calm her in the rare times she allows herself to break down. Get it out, Busy. Give it to me. I'm not letting go, I say softly into the top of her head. She tightens her arms around my waist and cries harder. Each tremor and shake pierces my heart. Usually the sound of my voice eases her, but today it seems to do the opposite. Instead of calming, she wails deeper. The sound resembles an injured animal begging for relief. There's only twice in my life she's shown this level of pain and vulnerability, and it hits me in the gut. She's losing a patient. Sweetie, how old?
14.
Each tear she sheds is absorbed straight into my skin, branding me with her ache. With one hand still massaging her head, I move the other to her back. Finally, her breath grows shallow and she loosens her hold. I'm sorry, Shaw. I tried to go home, but my car brought me here. I think I was on autopilot when I left the hospital. Tell me. I walk us back to the sofa and maneuver so she's in my lap. It's an intimate gesture, but she needs me right now, and I'll do anything to lessen the burden she carries. When she looks up, fear and sadness cloud her beautiful face. Even bloodshot and full of tears, her eyes are mesmerizing.
The treatments aren't working. His family would like to try some alternative medicines, but we all know it's only a matter of time. Evie suggested bringing a hospice team to keep him comfortable. It looks like the cancer won.
Jesus. I pull her back to me and kiss her forehead lightly. Honey, I think it's time you ask for a transfer. Pediatric oncology is killing you. It's too close to the heart, especially with your history.
No, Shaw. Being with these kids is where I belong. I love my job.
This is an argument we've had frequently. One no one wins. Even Busy's parents begged her to reconsider pediatric oncology when she applied for the position. We all encouraged her to stay in med-surg, but she refused. I know, but it hurts to see you so affected.
There's more.
She whispers so softly I almost miss it.
It's Nicky. This young boy Grady looks so much like Nicky. That's why I'm hanging by a thread. When we told his parents, all I could see were Seth and Maria's faces.
My breath disappears, thinking of my parents for all those months. It was brutal to watch them so helpless while Nick fought his battle.
Busy. I've gotten stronger, promise. Nurse Evie helps me every day. Her strength is my guiding light, but today something broke. That's why I'm here. I couldn't go to Nicky.
Her statement doesn't offend me at all. She typically doesn't go to anyone but me when something happens at work. Usually Mathis will find out because he's doing his residency at the same hospital. No need to explain. I'll always have time for my girl, you know this. She gives me a weak grin and face plants back into my chest. I owe you another shirt. This one is now soaked in snot and tears. That's why I keep a selection of clean ones here. I try to joke.
Gross. I'm gross.
She giggles through a hiccup.
You're beautiful.
I lift her chin, forcing her to look at me.
Always beautiful.
She blushes every time I tell her this, which makes it even more true. If possible, I'd take every ounce of hurt from her life. Why don't you let me take you home? I'll grab us something to eat and we'll chill tonight.
I can't. Claire and I are going to Grady's house to help them get settled and bring him some things.
Like what?
I guess all my Nick Bennett memorabilia. He knows we're friends and was really bummed when he missed Nicky's last visit to the hospital. So I'm taking them. I'd ask Nicky to visit, but it's too raw. The resemblance is too strong. Young boy, two brothers, football player, cute and goofy, yet so kind and sweet. He's almost an exact doppelganger.
I scrunch my eyes in confusion at her term.
Doppelganger is almost like a twin,
she clarifies. I nod in understanding and take my cell out of my pocket. Gail answers on the first ring, and I give her a list of things to grab from our stock for Grady. When I hang up, Busy stares at me, her ice blue eyes shining again with tears. She surprises me by fisting my shirt and laying a soft, sweet kiss directly on my lips.
I love you, Shaw Bennett. Thank you,
she whispers against my mouth. My heart swells, and every nerve in my body lights on fire. In this instant, my life changes.
Chapter 2. Busy. No, Claire, I'm not going on any more of your blind dates. Why the hell did you join a speed dating club and dating site only to push me to these guys? I switched the phone to speaker so I can finish getting dressed. Because they may not be right for me, but you may hit it off. Let me at least send you his profile info. My best friend pleads the same argument we have each time she tries to set me up. After last week's debacle, I'm done. I'm pretty sure you're going to shrivel up if you don't get action soon. Claire, seriously, you should thank me. I'm looking out for your poor vagina. That thing needs action that's not silicone-induced. I hate you. Tell me again why we're even friends. Because one look at you in nursing school, and I decided you deserved Claire Dixon in your life. There are some things even your precious boys can't get you through. Right now, I'm leaning toward my boys. Seriously, he wore a suit to a beach bar. I can appreciate a man in a suit, but it was so formal. No more. Bet if Crenshaw wore a suit to a beach bar, your ovaries would explode. She's the only person in the world I've confided in about my feelings for Shaw, and it's comments like this that make me regret telling her. Jesus, I'm hanging up the phone. You're annoying. Thank God tonight will bring me back into normal territory. The boys, the boys, the boys, she sings. You are one lucky bitch. Do you know how many women would kill to be in your shoes? A lawyer, a doctor, and an NFL player, all rich, gorgeous, and successful, not to mention all wrapped around your finger. I am a lucky bitch, but they're not wrapped around my finger. They can be handfuls. Is tonight monthly dinner night? We started the tradition of monthly dinners 3 years ago when the NFL drafted Nicky to play in Miami. At the time, I was a nervous wreck because rumor was Texas wanted Nicholas Bennett and was coming after him. But somehow, Shaw worked his magic and Miami traded for Nicky. For the first time ever, outside of holidays, we were all in the same place at once. Between law school, college, and medical school, we had a lot of distance. I insisted on one night a month with the 4 of us getting together for dinner. No one has ever missed it. Even if scheduling is a nightmare, these dinners are sacred. Sure is. MDN is here, so I need to get off the phone. I'm sending you the profile of a guy that looks like your type. Hell, it says he's even a lawyer. Stop, I hiss, hang up on her, and rush to finish dinner. A few minutes later, the doorbell rings. Come on in, I yell from the kitchen.
Busy?
Mathis comes in, shaking his head.
I've told you about that. Keep your damn door locked.
I kiss him on the cheek and accept the bottle of wine he offers. I knew it was one of you.
Still, you shouldn't be careless.
The doorbell rings again as I dump the noodles in the water, and Mathis goes to answer, since he apparently locked it after he came in. Both Nicky and Shaw walk in with their own bottles of wine. I go to Nicky first and cup his cheek, searching his face. It's a habit I formed after we both went into remission. He silently does the same. When we're both satisfied, we silently give a shake of the head and hug tight. He kisses my temple and moves to the appetizers on the counter. Then, I'm faced with Shaw's overwhelming presence. A surge of desire and longing shoots through me as I take him in. His 6'2" frame towers over me. He's kept a well-trimmed beard for the last few years that sets off his full lips. His eyes glow with shades of gold. It's no secret I have unusual eyes, but when I stare into his, I could lose myself for days. They are the most soulful eyes I've ever seen on anyone in my life. Have been since the day I first saw him. It's so much more, though. Every time I see him, he exudes a raw, deep, and undeniable sex appeal, the kind of appeal that no one else can match. Through the years, I've become a master at hiding the feelings swirling when it comes to Crenshaw Bennett. I've resigned myself to the fact that he'll always see me as a sick young girl. Even now, at almost 25, he's never looked at me as a woman. I've tried to get over my hopeless infatuation, but there's no denying that he owns a piece of my heart. That's why when I find myself suffocating under the pressures at work, he's who I turn to. The instant I'm in his big, strong arms, the weight of grief dissolves. He handles me so gently, I almost feel precious in his embrace.
Busy?
He says, kissing my cheek. He mirrors Nicky's move by searching for any sign of sadness. I know he's worried about my breakdown last week, but I've come to terms with the fact that Grady is going to die soon. I'm good, Shaw. Promise. He nods, but instead of moving his hand, he sweeps his thumb across my lips gently. My breath hitches and his eyes flash. Something passes between us, but I'm too lost in his gaze to figure out what it is.
I'm starving.
Nicky opens a beer and slides onto a bar stool. Shaw drops his hand as I snap out of my trance and move to the stove. I tripled the recipe. You should be fine.
What are we having? Dipshit.
Shaw slaps Nicky's head.
You never ask. When will you learn? It's rude. It's just busy. You need to learn to be suave. Say something along the lines of, "What smells so delicious?" Suave, huh? When did you become the master on charm?
I'm trying something new. I break up their argument. It's organic. The kitchen goes silent. Mathis looks to the ceiling, and Nicky makes a face like I'm serving dog food. Shaw purses his lips. Guys, it has chicken, I defend, but get no reaction. Fine, it's a chicken parmesan with rotini and roasted vegetables. Every shoulder in the room relaxes. I hand Mathis the table settings and instruct Nicky to help. When they walk out, Shaw comes up behind me and lays his hands on my shoulders. He threads his fingers through my hair, gently untangling the waves. It's no secret how much I wanted long hair after the chemo. It took years to get it the same length, but the day I walked out of the salon with the style I'd dreamed of for years, I had a celebration.
Your hair looks beautiful tonight.
He leans in so close I feel him inhale, then exhale, his warm breath scorching the skin on my neck.
So do you.
His voice is husky. Holy shit. My knees wobble, and I have to grip the counter to stay upright. Butterflies start to swarm in my stomach and fly wildly throughout my body. Get a grip. I mentally chastise myself.
What can I do to help?
His tone is still low. You can, maybe... Shit, my mind goes blank at the feeling of his chest against my back.
I think I'll open some wine.
He moves away. Okay, I whisper. Cool air hits my back, and I sneak a glance over my shoulder to see him reaching for glasses. He catches my eye and gives me his signature grin, seemingly unaffected by our exchange. I imagine the whole thing. Fucking mental case. He tells me I'm beautiful all the time. What the hell is wrong with me?
Busy? Your cable sucks.
Nicky storms in and repeats for the 100th time.
What's wrong with her cable?
Shaw asks, saving me from speaking.
She still has basic. How can we watch the season predictions without ESPN or NFL Network?
Nicky glares at me and I bow my head, knowing this is going to escalate. It always does when we do dinner at my apartment. I didn't upgrade, I admit.
Busy, I left money specifically for that on your counter. Stop being stubborn.
Nicky, I either go to your games, watch them with your parents and brothers, or work. I don't need to upgrade. When I'm here, ESPN is not my choice of programs. I also don't need your money. Shaw hangs his head in disappointment. Not shocking, since he's been on the cable bandwagon for as long as the other two. Mathis comes in and stomps to me. He leans down, throwing me over his shoulder, and turns to Nicky.
Now, you say you know where it is, so get it. She can't fight me.
Quickly, Nicky moves to my stack of mail and grabs the cable bill. He runs to the other room with Shaw following. I beat Mathis's back in protest, but it's no use. He grips the back of my knees and tickles. Mathis, I'm going to sit Claire on you at work. Let me down now, I squirm.
I'd welcome that. She's not a threat. But missing the predictions about the upcoming season because you're too cheap to get the Prime cable package is unacceptable.
I'm not cheap. I have Netflix, I argue.
We love you, but no more. We require cable.
He puts me down, but still holds me in place until Shaw and Nicky come in, smirking with satisfaction.
All taken care of for at least the next 12 months.
Nicky shoves my bill in the trash.
You no longer have a cable bill.
Just so you know, I'm replacing you with Claire. She may have shit taste in men, but she'd never let a mongrel manhandle me. Nicky grins and shrugs. I huff and finish dinner, trying to think of a way to get them back. The few times my eyes go to Shaw, he's staring at me with an unreadable expression. It's obvious he didn't feel the same energy earlier. Waves of disappointment wash over me, but I replay the reasons in my head that we'll never be more than friends. He's your best friend's brother. He thinks of you as a sister. He met you when you were bald and emaciated. He's protective, in a friendship way. I straighten my shoulders and start filling plates. Nicky gives me a wide grin of approval when he sees the amount of food. It's Mathis's turn to start, I tell them when we're seated.
I have nothing to tell. All I do is work with the very occasional night out. This is the best meal I've had since our last MDN. Did you know your life would be so boring when you decided to become a doctor? Nicky teases him.
Don't be mean. I throw a napkin at him. Dr. Mathis is the coolest in the hospital. My kids adore him. Nicky smiles proudly and slaps Mathis on the back.
Knew you'd be the best.
They exchange a look I've seen many times. Everyone in the Bennett family was affected differently when they heard the cancer diagnosis. It set Mathis on the path to becoming a pediatrician.
Nick's turn.
Mathis changes the conversation away from him.
The same old shit. Workouts, drills, watching films. First preseason game is in a week. I'll probably play one quarter.
I'll be watching for at least 1/4 then. I smile proudly at him and look at Shaw. Your turn. We turn to him, waiting for the exciting adventures of a high-profile sports agent. He gets to jet set around the country, meeting famous, or soon-to-be famous, sports stars.
Working on the power drink endorsement for Nick. We should have that signed soon. I have a few potential clients on the west coast of Florida. Heading to Tampa and St. Petersburg in 2 weeks.
I've heard St. Petersburg is beautiful. I've never been, I sigh.
Come with me.
His statement shocks me, and I inhale mid-sip. I start to choke, wine spraying everywhere.
What?
I stutter.
Jesus, say it, don't spray it.
Nicky wipes his cheek. Sorry, I apologize, my face burning. I thought Shaw invited me on his business trip.
I did, and it won't be all business.
I can't. My mind scrambles, trying to think of believable excuses.
Why?
Mathis asks.
You have plenty of vacation and hardly ever use it. Nurse Evie told us in a staff meeting last week she's going to mandate the nurses use their personal time. Your PTO bank is full, and if you don't use it, you'll lose it.
Mathis is a traitor. He totally ruined that excuse.
Sounds pretty easy to me.
Shaw sits back, raising an eyebrow and waiting. There's no way to get the time off with this short notice, I throw at him.
That's a shame. Would have been nice to have you with me, and I've owed you a vacation for 10 years. Not sure if the area is considered tropical, but they have gorgeous beaches and terrific nightlife.
His eyes trap mine, testing me. The memory of me teasing him the first time we met plays in my mind. I can't help but grin at the expression on his face. Little does he know that I still use that with my patients. It helps break the ice and usually gets me a smile.
It's done. She's off Thursday through Monday.
Mathis drops his phone on the table.
Evie approved.
Did you text my boss requesting vacation time? I start to panic. There's no way I can do this. My heart can't sustain a weekend with Shaw alone, especially since one complimented my kitchen led my pathetic imagination to run wild.
Seriously, Busy, what's the problem? You've vacationed with us forever.
Nicky puts a hand on my shoulder. I don't look at him for fear he'll see right through me. I've hidden my crush for years, and he can't discover it now. But it's been all of us together. I'd hate to be a bother. Shaw needs to work.
No bother. We'll have our own rooms if that makes you more comfortable.
I'm stuck. There's no way out. It will cause suspicion if I keep refusing. I'll think about it. Each man smirks, knowing I'm giving up the argument.
I'll have Gail send you the details on Monday.
Shaw flashes a triumphant grin.
Chapter 3. Shaw. I take a sip of whiskey and look out across my balcony at the waves crashing in the surf. It's rare that I'm home before dark, but today I enjoy the sunset. The whole reason for buying this place was the view. Even though the inside is top of the line, it's the view that I paid a mint for. I think back on the day I made an offer. My mom and Busy ran around with stars in their eyes. They had plans for this place. I had no idea what I was getting into. When I signed the papers, they went wild. Busy may be a nurse by trade, but she could have been an interior decorator. My place is exactly what I wanted. There's a strong masculine presence in every room, but it is comfortable. My favorite places are the balcony and my bedroom. I realize now it's because Busy put her stamp on every inch of these two places. My bedroom is devoted to family, with pictures of my life everywhere. The warm colors of the walls and bedding reflect what she calls my style. The balcony is a contradiction. The bright cushions on the wicker furniture, alongside the outside bar, are completely out of my comfort zone. There are wall decorations on almost every stucco surface, reminding me of glamorous hotels and resorts. But I find myself drawn to the area mostly because it is a reflection of her. Now, I stare at the water and try to wrap my head around the thoughts swirling in my mind. Since the day in my office and the night at Busy's house, something inside me changed. I can't stop thinking about her. She consumes my thoughts. I go back 10 years, remembering every occasion we've shared, and how much she means to me. It boggles my mind that I've never realized it before now. I've always loved her in some way, but those feelings exploded into a new raw need the second her lips touched mine. Suddenly, I was seeing the sweet little Busy as more. My vision cleared in that moment. This woman is perfect in every way, and I want her to be mine. It may have been a mistake, but I didn't think twice. Inviting her with me to St. Petersburg was a natural reaction. Then I remembered the look of panic on her face. It wasn't exactly comforting, and I started to doubt my decision. I swallow the amber liquid and remember how she shivered at my touch. I knew it was overstepping our usual lines of friendship the way I gripped her shoulders. It was an act of intimacy, more than we'd ever shared before. I was 2 seconds away from spinning her to me so I could see if she was as affected as I was. Luckily, her tremble was the encouragement I needed. I'm thinking about things, wondering if we can ever be a possibility. These are the same things that should scare any sane bachelor into hysterics. Her in my house. Her in my life. Her in my bed. My hands knotted in her hair as I kiss her until she's moaning my name. My body pressed against hers, feeling her shiver at my touch. Again. Fuck! I hiss into the night and drain the glass. I need to get my shit together. This is dangerous. Busy is family. She deserves a man who will provide her a lifetime of happiness. A man who will worship her for her beauty and spirit. Can I be that man? My phone rings and I close my eyes as her sweet smile fills my screen. Karma is testing me tonight. Hello.
Hey, Shah.
She's quiet. Too quiet. Busy, you okay?
Yes, I'm actually in the parking garage. I see your car but didn't want to interrupt in case you had company or you were busy, or you wanted to be alone.
She rambles. I'm never too busy for you. Get your ass up here. I drop the phone and go to my front door, opening it to watch for her. When the elevator opens and she steps out, my pulse starts to race. She's in her scrubs, and I realize she must be working tonight. Even in the ridiculous bright material with some sort of dancing bears, she still steals my breath.
Hey.
She hesitates and leans in for a quick hug, backing away too quickly. I put my hand to her back and lead her into the living room. She plunks down on the sofa and tosses her keys and phone to the side.
Sorry to barge in on you.
You're always welcome here. That's why you have a key, I remind her.
It's Friday night. I didn't want to interrupt you.
You're never an interruption. You know this. But I sense something's going on. You okay?
No.
She throws her hands in the air and sinks back.
Gail called me today. She gave me our schedule for next weekend.
Okay. I try to hide my amusement because I knew to expect this.
I think she has me set up as your date for the whole weekend.
She should, being as I told her to include you in everything.
I thought I was tagging along.
You are never a tag-along. I want to give you a mini vacation.
But this is your business.
You have to eat, too. Surely a few dinners won't cramp your style. She narrows her eyes and gives me a dirty look.
You're being smug. I know I have to eat, but I'll be a nervous wreck with your clients.
You're best friends with a top quarterback in the NFL. You've been around professional athletes for years, most of them eating out of your hands within a few minutes of knowing you. What's the problem?
I'm not sure this is a good idea. I feel like a fifth wheel, honestly.
Shit, she's going to try to back out. Sweetheart, forget the dinners. You want to stay in and get room service? Do it. I won't be offended. Come with me. Get away for a few days. I've got a 2-bedroom suite. You don't even have to hang out with me. I say the words and taste the acid in my mouth. There's nothing I want more than to be away with her for 4 days.
I love hanging out with you. I just feel weird about this.
Finally, I realize I can't push anymore. She has to make the decision. It's up to you, babe. If you want to back out, I'll understand.
Fuck, don't let her back out.
She purses her lips and stays quiet. Then she inhales deeply and flings her head back, focusing on the ceiling.
You're amazing, you know that? What time do we leave next Thursday?
My heart beats double time, and I fight the impulse to raise my arms in victory. I'll have a car pick you up around 5. She grabs her phone and keys and comes to me, throwing her arms around my waist and her head against my chest.
Thank you, Shah. I'm excited.
Me too, I agree. Even though excited is an understatement. The next 6 days can't pass quickly enough.
I have to go. I'm working all weekend. We have a nurse out sick.
Mathis on this weekend?
Sunday night. We're going to try to grab dinner.
Jealousy spikes in my blood. What the hell is wrong with me? She and my brother eat together all the time. You get hungry, you get sad, you need anything. You call me. She raises her head and locks eyes with me. A smile spreads across her lips.
I will.
I reluctantly follow her to the door and watch until the elevator closes. Then I walk back to my patio and pour a full glass of whiskey and stare at the ocean, wondering what the fuck I'm going to do. There's a buzz around the office, knowing I'm meeting with 3 of the most sought-after clients in the state over the next few days. My boss, who basically leaves me alone, has stopped by twice today to wish me luck. Even with everyone's enthusiasm, I can't seem to think about anything but busy. She's texted or called me every day, mentioning something else she's excited about. A long time ago, Nick told me her family used to do vacations every year, until she got sick. The bills piled up and vacations became scarce. Her parents, Rory and Tom, got back on their feet, but the days of family getaways were over. So, with her growing excitement, I asked Gail to make sure Busy had anything and everything she wanted. Spa treatments, a private cabana, whatever made her smile. There was no way to miss Gail's approving smile as she promised to take care of it.
Crenshaw,
Gail buzzes through the phone, and I roll my eyes at her continuous use of my formal name. Yes?
Your brother's on his way up.
Which one?
The smart one.
I howl in laughter and glance at her through the glass. She gives me a wink, then points to Mathis walking our way. He kisses her quickly on the cheek, and she motions for him to come in. I sit back in my seat and wait for him to lie down on the sofa, as he usually does after a long shift. Instead, he sits in a chair opposite me and crosses his arms. His face is almost unreadable except for the tick in his jaw. It's a surefire sign he's pissed. This is a surprise. You okay?
Fuck no.
Something going on?
You tell me.
I get the sense you're pissed, but I don't have time to play guessing games, so spit it out.
What's up with you and Busy?
The force of his words shock me, and I try to hide my flinch. Not a damn thing, why do you ask?
Bullshit.
I saw the way you looked at her last week at dinner, closing in on her when you thought Nick and I were in the other room. The way you lit up when she decided to come along on this trip. It may have escaped a lot of people, but I know you. Not to mention she's a freaking loon. A floating loon. I've seen her almost every day at the hospital, and every time she's grinning. Maybe she's happy.
She works with cancer kids, you dumbass. Her heart is broken almost daily.
He's got a point I can't even argue. What do you want me to say?
I want you to tell me I'm sleep-deprived and imagining this shit.
Tell me you're not interested in her, that I'm hallucinating. Fuck. Tell me anything that will make me more comfortable with her leaving for 4 days alone with you. I glare at my brother and then close my eyes, scrubbing a hand down my face. You're not imagining this shit. I'm not really sure what happened. It came out of left field. I explained Busy's visit 2 weeks ago and when my feelings shifted. It was like a fucking light bulb, man. You can't understand. She was so beautiful, even with the tears streaming down her cheeks. My heart hurt as I held her close and felt every heave of her chest while she cried for Grady. When she told me she loved me, like she has 100 times before, I felt it down to my soul. Something snapped, everything changed for me. Repeating the story has the same feelings bubbling to the surface. My heartbeat quickens with the primal need to erase her pain. My fingers ache to thread through her hair and massage her scalp to calm her tears, and my arms want to wrap back around her and protect her from the hurt of losing another patient. I want to demolish anything that takes the light out of Busy's gorgeous face. The desire inside intensifies. Jesus, you can't fuck this up. I know, you asshole. That's why I'm going to take it slow. She may not even feel the same way. The privacy blinds start to close in my office, and I give Gail an appreciative nod. Okay, well, let's cover a completely different topic. Tell me about Sasha. I jerk my head to him so quick my neck cracks. What the fuck are you talking about? What about Sasha? She has nothing to do with this. She's no one. Did you not leave the bar with her a few weeks ago? That's none of your fucking business. But seeing as you're asking, you know the answer. It was a mistake. A big mistake that won't happen again. Well, let's lay this shit out, big brother, because you need to know. You have a slow burn inside that seems to be lit by our favorite girl. The same girl we've loved since Nick and she declared they were best friends for life. That same girl that was tortured for years by Sasha fucking Crane. What? I feel the blood draining from my face. No fucking way. What are the chances? Yeah, that bitch has had it out for Lisbeth for 10 fucking years. Even with the 2-year age difference, she found a way to hurt her every chance she got. It's not my story to tell, but Nick says it was awful. He would have killed Sasha Crane if he could have. Why didn't I know? You're older. You were in college and then law school. You did an internship in New York. Every time you were home, it was about holidays or birthdays. Busy never, ever talks about it. Motherfucking son of a goddamn bitch! The girl who hurt her in high school, the one who made fun of her for losing her hair and being plump because of the steroids, was Sasha? Same bitch. I fucked that woman. Poor judgment. Busy can't know. My stomach turns in revulsion. She's not going to hear it from me. And lucky for you, Nick was drunker than us. He didn't see. He'd kick your fucking ass. Shit, shit, shit. I hang my head and rub my temples where a massive headache is forming. You have to be careful, Shaw. I would never get in your personal business, but this is too delicate to fuck up. Be sure of everything before you make a move because you can't go back. Damn. I keep massaging my head. I'm not sure whose side you're on. You're my brother, but I love her too. Tell me I don't need to worry. You don't need to worry. I glance up in time to see his worry disappear and his lips twitch. You're enjoying this? Oh, hell yeah. Been wondering for years if you'd ever find a woman. Mom's gonna flip her shit. If Busy gives your sorry ass a chance and this thing takes off, Mom will have your wedding planned and hounding you about grandkids. Any other time, his words would make me break out in hives. But the image of Busy as a mother fills my head, and I stop thinking altogether. Promise you I won't fuck this up. She's the most important person in this scenario. I'll proceed with caution. Gotcha. He moves to the sofa and lies down, spreading out, and looks at me with a grin. So, tell me about your weekend plans. I shoot a message to Gail to tell her to hold my calls as I loosen my tie. Then I relax and fill my nosy brother in on all I have planned for the weekend. You sure it's a good idea to take the woman you're interested in to dinner with some young, 20-something athletes? Seems a little risky to me. He raises an eyebrow and gives me an annoying grin. You'll be replaced before you even get a shot. You're an asshole, I rumble, and throw a pen across my office at him. His words sink in, and my mood goes to hell. He's right. I need a plan. The kind of plan that changes both our lives.
Chapter 4. Busy. This is paradise. Absolute paradise. I lean over the balcony, close my eyes, and inhale deeply, smelling the salt in the air as the sea breeze hits me. The sound of music from the outdoor bar is faint, but I recognize the song and smile. I roll my neck a few times and feel the tension draining as the anxiety of the day melts away. When I got off shift this morning, I was exhausted, but as soon as I walked through my door, my energy returned. It has been years since I actually got away for a few days with nothing to do. Claire and I rarely get the same few days off, so when we do, we usually head to the local beach or spend the day pampering ourselves. Shaw, Mathis, and I try to go to at least 2 away games a season to support Nick, but those are hectic. So the thought of 4 days with nothing but sun, sand, and relaxation is awesome. Claire was as excited as me and showed up unexpectedly to help me pack. When she saw my selection of clothes, she insisted on a last-minute trip to find perfect dresses for the dinners with Shaw's clients. She hustled me through 3 stores until we found what she deemed acceptable. Then she decided I needed perfect lingerie as well, which led to her explaining I need to be ready for anything. She was trying to be sly, but I knew what she was up to. And for those few hours, I allowed myself to think about buying these items for Shaw. Each piece I picked out, his face filled my head, wondering if he'd like it. Then I came back to reality and remembered there would never be a Shaw and Busy. But for those few hours, I never stopped smiling.
I don't think this was in the brochure when Gail booked the room.
Shaw's voice startles me, and I turn to find him watching from the doorway. He's changed out of his suit and is now in casual shorts and a t-shirt that fits tight around his chest and arms. Nicky told me Shaw and Mathis had been trying to join him with his workouts. Mathis's schedule has been unpredictable, but obviously Shaw has been able to make time. What do you mean?
I knew the place was nice, but having a gorgeous woman on the balcony at sunset would be a great marketing tool.
Heat creeps up my cheeks, as it usually does every time he gives me a compliment. Charmer. He chuckles and walks out, joining me at the railing.
How's your room?
Huge, beautiful, extravagant. This whole suite is extravagant. I'm pretty sure it's bigger than my apartment.
This is all Gail. Most of the time when I travel, I don't spend enough time in the room to care, but she wanted you to have the best.
It's very unnecessary. I would be happy in a regular room.
Yes, but I'm more comfortable having you here.
He slides closer and takes one of my hands in his, linking our fingers. I try to stop my head from spinning. We've held hands hundreds of times. It's purely a platonic gesture. I swallow to moisten my throat and give his hand a squeeze. You know I'm a big girl, right? There's no need to be so protective. He turns to face me, and I notice something in his gaze. Something unfamiliar and intense. His eyes search my face and then land on mine, sending a chill down my spine. He uses his free hand to frame my face and rubs his thumb along my cheek. My heartbeat races with bells ringing in my ears. I bite the inside of my lip to stop from squeaking.
I know you're a grown woman, Busy. It's hard to miss. As much as I'd like to agree that I wanted you near me for protective reasons, I'd be lying. It's purely selfish.
His usually deep voice is low and gravelly. The air around us buzzes when I realize I'm not imagining this. What do you mean?
I wanted you here with me because I like having you close. If I could, I'd blow off all my obligations this weekend. You'd never leave my sight.
I give a silent prayer for my legs to hold me up. My eyes lock with his and my stomach drops. He's staring at me so lovingly that every inch of my skin starts to tingle. What are you saying? I whisper so low I'm not sure he heard me. He remains quiet a few seconds and uses his hand framing my face to pull me to him, kissing the tip of my nose.
Give me this weekend, my beautiful Busy, and you'll know exactly what I'm saying.
The scent of his cologne mixed with the heat of his breath so close to my mouth sets my heart racing faster. It's too much, having him so close, touching me so gently. I close my eyes and move my forehead to lay on his cheek. We stay like this for a few minutes as I force myself to calm down.
Are you ready for dinner?
He breaks the spell between us. Do we have to move? It slips from my mouth before I can stop it.
Not if you don't want. I'm perfectly happy right here.
I force myself to step back and look at him again. There's a touch of humor dancing in his eyes as his lip twitches. It takes every ounce of willpower I have to move further back and tug on his hand. I'll let you feed me. His eyes break away, and then he runs them down my body before sighing.
Room service sounds a lot better right now.
A smile spreads across my face, and I lead him through the suite, grabbing my purse on the way out. After dinner, we're dancing.
Busy, you know I don't dance.
Well, you can watch. Maybe someone will take pity and dance with me.
Over my dead fucking body.
He growls and yanks my back to his front. Another couple walks down the hallway and stops next to us, waiting for the elevator. He holds me close, almost possessively, and when the elevator door opens, he ushers us in together. I meet the other woman's eyes briefly and see her smirking. Then I drop my head to hide my own grin. The whole ride, Shaw never lets me go. That was so much fun, I giggle, kicking off my sandals as we enter the suite. You, my dear, are an awesome dancer.
I had a great partner.
Shaw follows behind and sits next to me when I collapse on the sofa. Why haven't we danced more often? I slur my words, cuddling into him.
I've tried to tell you, I don't dance.
It must have been the wine. The wine made you dance. We have to get more wine.
Babe, I didn't drink wine.
My head shoots up and I groan. Oh, shit. Did I drink that whole bottle myself?
Every drop.
I'm going to feel terrible tomorrow. That was stupid considering I haven't slept.
Why haven't you slept?
I thought about going to bed this morning when I got home, but I was too excited, so basically I'll be a zombie tomorrow.
Good thing you can sleep all day if you want.
I'll sleep on the beach.
Do you want me to help you get to bed?
Not yet. This is comfortable. I want to talk.
What do you want to talk about? You're blitzed and running on no sleep.
I want to talk about you. We never talk about you.
We talk about me all the time.
We talk about the boys and we talk about your work. We never really talk about you.
What do you want to know?
Why aren't you dating anyone, Shaw? You're a catch. He chuckles, his chest vibrating under my cheek as he runs his hands through my hair.
Catch, huh? Not sure I agree.
I lift up, bracing on his chest. His face is relaxed and soft, and I love it. You are to me. You're perfect. The alcohol is obviously guiding my words.
Oh, sweet Busy. I'm far from perfect. I'm an asshole in my business, never letting anyone get the upper hand. I run my clients like a fucking drill sergeant, not putting up with any shit. When it comes to my personal life, I spend most of my time with family. There's no time for much else, especially the drama that comes with relationships in my line of work. I've stayed single on purpose.
His words sting and I flinch, backing away. Even in my inebriated haze, his meaning is clear. There's no time for a relationship. He senses my unease and curls his hand around my neck, squeezing lightly. I drop my eyes to stare at the floor and swallow back the lump in my throat. Getting emotional is one thing, but getting emotional while drunk is dangerous. I risk blurting out everything.
What's going through your mind?
Nothing, I lie.
Look at me.
I shake my head and take a deep breath, trying to regain some sense. I need to redirect the conversation, then escape to bed.
Lizbeth, look at me.
I raise my face to his and wish like hell I'd have kept my mouth shut. His eyes have now transformed into a deep shade of green that makes me want to confess everything I feel for him.
What happened? What did I say wrong?
Luckily, my brain catches up before I profess my decade-long infatuation. Nothing at all. I just want the best for you. You deserve to be happy. It sounds like you don't have room for romantic relationships, and I hate that for you.
Who says I don't have time for romance?
You did.
No, I said I didn't have time for bullshit. Up until recently, I never saw myself being a relationship guy. Seemed like a waste of time, only to learn someone was after my money or my family name. Now I'm seeing things differently.
Really? What happened? He runs the tip of his tongue along his lower lip and gently grips my hips. Before I can comprehend what's happening, he's lifted me onto his lap and has both my hands in his. He moves our joined hands to rest on his stomach. The muscles contract under the touch.
You happened.
I freeze, my heart stopping. What?
You happened. So pure, so sweet, so goddamn beautiful my heart hurts when I see you. That day in my office, your lips on mine, you crying in my arms, your incredible sadness over a young boy who will lose his life. It hit me hard. So fucking hard. I knew it then.
Oh my God.
Busy? I need you to look at me.
I raise my eyes to his and feel the heat searing me again.
I didn't plan to do this tonight. You've had a lot to drink, but you've left me no choice. I've been holding this in for weeks. This is my weekend to prove it to you. It's you that's changed my mind. Everything is about you. If you don't feel the same, it's okay. No pressure.
I'm not exactly sure what you're saying. Feel the same about what? He stays quiet for too long. Then he stands easily, moving his hands to my waist and holding me against him.
Go get changed. You need to sleep.
No, I protest. Now I can't sleep. He walks us to my room and sets me inside the door.
Get changed and meet me back on the sofa. We'll watch some TV. We've done enough talking for tonight.
He turns to walk away, and I watch him disappear into his own room and shut the door. It takes a full minute for me to move, and even then, I trip over my feet getting to my suitcase. Once I've changed into my pajamas and brushed my teeth, I give myself a pep talk and realize this is not a hallucination. The details are fuzzy, but Crenshaw Bennett is waiting for me in the other room. My mind is swimming with questions, but I won't ask anything else until I have my full wits about me and can process everything clearly. Even if it's for one night, I'm going to enjoy it. I walk into the living room and find him sprawled out on the couch with the controller in one hand, watching the TV. I stop dead at the sight of him in cotton pants and nothing else. The muscles hidden earlier under his shirt are now on display, and I want to weep in appreciation. He's always been handsome, but right now, I take a second to memorize this image.
Busy. Come here.
I walk over slowly, unsure where to sit. When I get close enough, He hitches an arm behind my knees and pulls me down, forcing me to lie on top of him.
Get comfortable.
I do as he says and lay my head on his bare chest. My eyelids grow heavy immediately, and I snuggle close. Please don't let this be a dream, I whisper to myself. He tightens his grip and kisses my forehead gently.
I think you are my dream,
Is the last thing I hear before falling asleep.
Chapter 5. Shaw. I glance at my watch for the 5th time in an hour and make a decision. This meeting needs to end. The long-winded lawyer at the end of the table finally closes his presentation, and I stand, surprising those around me. Gentlemen, thank you for your time. I appreciate the diligence you put into this presentation. It seems we are all on the same page when it comes to expectations and long-term goals. Unfortunately, I have to head out. There's a rumble around the table, and Perry shoots me an evil glare. What the hell, Bennett? You're leaving now? Yep. I pack up my laptop. Your office assured me this was legit. How the fuck can I make a decision about my representation based on 2 hours? This is your audition. You know how many other agents want my business? I stop myself from laughing and take a deep breath. Then I do what I do best. Straightening my shoulders, I pin the pompous prick with my eyes and stare long and hard until he squirms in his seat. The room is silent, watching me and waiting. This guy may be used to getting everything he wants, but if he's represented by me and my agency, that shit stops immediately. I call the shots. Always. Perry, I guess you didn't get the memo. I'm fielding you. This was a technicality to see where your bosses stand, and if you can handle being on the team I represent. I got what I wanted, and I'll be in touch. Bullshit. I make the decisions here. I'm the best forward in the NHL. I don't audition for anyone. His arrogant attitude reminds me of so many others I've smacked down, including my own brother. Perry, I can recite your statistics by memory, including the fights, penalties, and suspensions. The reason I'm here is because you are firing your current agent when the contract is up. You want the best. I am the best, but I don't put up with bullshit ever. I'm a lawyer and an agent, so you get the best of both worlds. I also put it into my contract that if you piss me off, you act out, or you ruin your reputation due to certain things, I'm out. I'm not your fucking babysitter, but damn close. You learn to mold to my demands, not yours. You want to fuck around with days' worth of people kissing your ass? Good luck, but I saw what I needed to see. Your team is focused, driven, and has the staff in place to achieve that with the right talent. You're a stupid shit if you think I'll listen to any lawyer. I pay your salary. At his statement, I'm done. I shake a few hands and make my way to the door. Only then do I look at the man in the center of the table, who is flaming red. Perry, I pay my own salary because I'm fucking good at what I do. Think about it long and hard because this is your only chance. Talk to your coaches, talk to your teammates, and talk to your fucking team lawyers. I'll assume you aren't joining us for the dinner tomorrow night, but if you change your mind, call my assistant, Gail. I walk out and hear the son of a bitch cussing as the door shuts. When I get into the elevator, I send a message to Gail, filling her in, and asking that she amend the contract we drafted for Perry. I want an additional 10% on top of my standard percentage if we sign him. Then I ask her to confirm our dinner reservations. I wave down a cab and ask the driver to take me back to the hotel. My phone rings, with Nick's ringtone, and I answer with a laugh. Shouldn't you be watching films or working out? Sunday's game may be preseason, but it's still against the reigning Super Bowl champs. The cab driver eyes me curiously in the rearview mirror. I know that, but I wanted to check in. His usually casual tone is filled with worry. Is everything okay? Sure, why wouldn't it be? Busy's not answering her phone. That's because I silenced it this morning. Any particular reason? Yeah, she went over 36 hours without sleep and proceeded to get trashed last night. When she finally fell asleep, I took care of her phone. Did you get her a Coke? I had several things delivered before I left and wrote her a note. If she's not answering, it probably means she's still asleep. Thank God. Nick, what's up? Is everything okay with you? Me? Yes, but I'm worried about her. Mathis told me about the young kid, Grady. We made arrangements for me to visit him next week after the game. Hopefully I'll be giving him the game-winning ball. Fuck. I scrubbed my hands through my hair. Did anything specific happen? Not really, but Mathis thinks with the use of the alternative mixed with traditional medicines, he may have a few months. The goal is to keep him comfortable. Only a miracle will let him survive. Mathis, Claire, and I all think we should wait until y'all get home to share with Busy. Agreed. She may not have the timeline, but she knows it's coming. I don't mention she's known for a while. Yes, she needs this time away. There's a brief pause before he asks, So, she got sloshed last night? Totally. She in the mood to dance? He chuckles, guessing the answer. Totally, I repeat, remembering the feeling of her in my arms as I held her close and guided her around the dance floor. Her hips were pressed tight to mine as she threw her head back smiling. My dick was hard as stone, so I had to reposition her several times, but it was worth every second. You're taking good care of her, right? Of course. Sorry, man, stupid question. Nick, you do realize she's no longer 14, right? She's an adult now and can take care of herself. I know, but she deserves so much, Shaw. You'll never understand. My stomach twists, remembering what Mathis shared and the years I missed of Busy's life. Usually, I'd ask her to talk to me, but I know she'll never discuss anything that will make her seem weak and vulnerable. She's a fighter. However, my gut tells me to take this opportunity to drill Nick while he's obviously concerned. I'm a son of a bitch, but if it gives me insight into Busy's world, I'll take it. I'll take anything, because if she gives me a chance, she'll never ever question her self-worth or place in this world again. She'll live each day knowing how special and precious she really is. Nick, make me understand. I'm not trying to betray your trust, but help me out here. It's been a long time since you were kids with cancer. What am I missing? Shit, that may have hit too close. Shaw, we don't talk about it, and she'd probably kill me, but she had it rough. It may have been a long time ago, but it's still in her head. This isn't just about kids being cruel. It's about the fear of every checkup, the lonely nights as she watched other girls date. She could never let loose and relax. I had so much going on, and I included her, but she didn't really bounce back from the treatments like I did. Her cancer was a bit more intense, if you can classify it that way. She had so much more to overcome. I basically forced her to socialize, and all my friends accepted her as part of us. She got drunk our freshman year of college. I watched her puke for 2 days because she insisted on drinking Hunch Punch. It was brutal, and I was so fucking scared. She finally slapped me around when I threatened to call her parents and told me she deserved it. She wasn't miserable. She was fucking happy. Happy to be living like a rebellious teen. Shit. I leaned back, imagining her as a lightweight puking and my brother as her caregiver. Finally, she drank a full Coke without spewing it everywhere, and I knew she'd be okay. It was always like that. I took care of her, and she took care of me. Always. The girl wormed her way into my fucking blood, and I can't let her go. So when I heard about this thing with Grady, at first I was upset, but I understood. She worries about me. I was ready to drive up there when she didn't answer her phone. The thought of her lying around in tears, hurting, physically pained me. Fucking shit. His explanation hits me like a sledgehammer. I thought I knew the depth of their connection, but it's so much deeper. The sense of pride I have for my baby brother is sliced with jealousy. He knows so much more about this woman, and I don't like the way it settles inside me. I can't believe I told you all that. Must be the therapy shit I'm forced to do because of my agent. He gives a strained chuckle. I snap into agent mode, trying to ease the tension. Therapy is not shit. I recommend all my clients at least try it. You going to tell these jokers you're vetting this weekend? Nope, that's in the fine print. It's my turn to laugh. Hard-ass bastard. Listen, Nikki, I get you. I get everywhere you're coming from, and thank you for sharing. But you can trust me. Starting tomorrow, I'll make sure she has the time of her life. Besides a few dinners, I've got plans to keep her mind occupied and give her some much-deserved relaxation. I trust you, Shaw, but there are only a few people who have that honor. Tell her to call me when she can, and I'll relax. You focus on getting your head in the game and showing those fuckers what you can do. Don't get hurt, and don't be stupid. Get my best friend to call me, and I promise you'll make your salary. Without another word, he hangs up. I sit in silence and notice we're idling outside the hotel with the driver waiting patiently. He gives me a warm smile and thanks me when I tip him generously. Making my way inside, I stop by the gift shop and pick up a bouquet of flowers before heading upstairs. We have 5 hours before dinner, and I plan on spending it with Busy. The feeling of her in my arms last night and the news my brother shared has changed everything. I'm going in stronger, and hope to God she's on the same page.
Tell me again, who are we meeting with tonight?
Busy looks at me, nervously biting the inside of her cheek.
I don't want to embarrass you.
I've told you 100 times you'd never embarrass me. We're meeting with Joe Palos. He's a baseball player. His agent is retiring this month and asked me to meet him because he's an old acquaintance of mine.
Is he a good player?
I raise my eyebrows and give her a look of disbelief. Do I work with anyone besides the best?
Joe Palos. Joe. Joe. Joe,
she repeats.
Okay, I think I'll remember.
Biz, relax.
I can't. This is important. This could mean a lot of money for you.
I said relax. I reach over to her chair and take her hand in mine. It's almost a done deal.
Why are you so calm? Couldn't this mean millions of dollars? Surely you have better things to do than hang out with me by the pool when you're supposed to be here working.
Her words are simple and sweet, her concern evident, but still they sting. I've always known she was selfless, but Nick's words now ring in my ears. Nothing in the world is more important to me than spending the afternoon with her. Without knowing it, she's given me the in I've been waiting for. I throw my legs over my lounger and pull her to stand. She almost loses her balance until I circle my free arm around her waist and catch her. Take a walk with me. She raises her head and looks at me from under the brim of her hat, her breath hitching as I skim my hand along the bare skin of her back. Walk with me, I repeat, and she gives me a slight nod. I release her hand but keep my arm around her waist, leading her to the walkway and down to the beach. Do you think I'm good at my job, Busy? I ask when we get to the shoreline, still holding her close.
The absolute best, but you know this. I've always thought you were the best at what you do.
Tonight is only a formality, more of a getting-to-know-you dinner. We'll talk about the season, the highs, the lows, and then we'll move on to easier subjects. I've already done my research on Joe and he on me. Joe's big on chemistry, and I admire that. If we have professional chemistry and we both walk away feeling this relationship is mutually beneficial and respectful, he'll fly to Miami and sign a contract. He's at the tail end of the season and doing well. His team looks like they could go all the way. His agent is retiring for health reasons, so the timing is critical.
He'll love you, Shaw. If tonight is all about getting to know you, he's a done deal.
Pride floods through my system and my chest swells. She's always been supportive and excited about my job, but her words seep into me. Suddenly everything that has seemed so normal means so much more. Tomorrow night's dinner will be the same. He's a football player. We've been talking for over a month. He has the same retiring agent. She squeezes my hand and lays her head on my shoulder as we walk.
It's amazing. You're amazing.
I stop walking and step in front of her, sliding her hat back so I can see her full face. No, you're amazing. Earlier you said something about having better things to do than hang out with you. But you are wrong. If I could, I'd cancel every damn meeting and dinner scheduled and spend the rest of the weekend with only the two of us. As it stands, I'm not too keen on sharing you with these guys, even for a few hours. Her eyes fall to the sand where she draws a circle with her toe.
Shaw? She lifts her eyes back to mine, and they burn with uncertainty and confusion. I act on impulse. Before she can say anything else, I cup her chin and lower my mouth to hers, placing a gentle kiss on her lips. I don't want her to mistake this for any other time I've kissed her with haste in passing. This time, I'm sending a message. My tongue sweeps across her soft lips, begging for her to open. She parts her mouth slightly, and I slip inside, holding back a growl at the first taste of her. I glide my hand around her neck and thread my fingers in her hair, gripping her scalp and anchoring her to me. Our lips move together, picking up speed, finding the perfect rhythm instantly. She gives a little whimper and moves her hands to clutch my biceps as she tilts to give me better access. Her tongue swirls against mine, urging me to go deeper. In this moment, everything around us vanishes, making it feel as if we are the only two people on the beach. This goes beyond a first kiss. It's all-consuming and passionate, and for me, it's a declaration of intent. I want her in a way I've never wanted anything in my life. I pour every emotion of the last 3 weeks into the kiss, and pray she feels what I do. Too soon, she starts to break away, but I don't let her go far, pressing our foreheads together as we both fight for breath. My mind flashes over the last 10 years and memories with this beautiful woman. How could I have been so blind? An epiphany hits me so hard my chest feels like it's caving in. I may have always loved Busy, but in this moment on this beach, I have fallen in love with her. Did that just happen? Her breathy voice hits me straight in the dick, which is pulsing against the Velcro of my swim shorts. Fuck yeah. I promised myself I'd never ask, in case last night was a result of the alcohol talking, but what's happening here? If you have to ask, come here and let me show you again. Can you clarify so I don't make a fool of myself? Her voice is laced with doubt, and I hear a faint crack in her words. She's avoiding my eyes, but her hands are still clutching my arms. Once again, my eyes are open to a level of insecurity I've never noticed. It becomes my mission in life to bury those fucking thoughts so deep, all she sees is how incredible she is. Starting now, it's time to lay it on the line. There was no alcohol talking. I meant every word I said last night. I've never been interested in any kind of relationship until I finally realized what was right in front of me. It hit me out of nowhere. I'm crazy about you. That day in my office, a switch was flipped. I'm not sure if it's because you looked and felt so right in my arms, or if it's the fact that I'd have given anything to take away your pain. Whatever it was didn't go away. It thrived and grew, and for the last 3 weeks, all I've been able to think about is you. You've always been in my heart, but now you've branded me. I'm a fool for not seeing it sooner because now all I see is us. Us? She slowly raises her eyes to me, and they're glowing a deep blue. Hope courses through me, and I swallow, putting the last shred of myself on the line. Yes, us. Do you feel it? If you don't, I'll stand back and we can return to the way things were. But I couldn't hide my feelings any longer. She stares at me blankly for too long, and I start to sweat. Then she leaps up, taking me by surprise, and wraps her whole body around me. I stumble a bit to find my footing, moving my arms to balance her on my waist. Her lips touch mine quickly, then she kisses along my jaw until reaching my ear. Don't you dare. I'm crazy about you, too. Her high pitch rings in my ears as her words sink in. She leans back, bracing her hands on my shoulders and locking eyes with me. Her smile lights up her face, and I move in for another kiss. Shaw? She mutters against my lips. This may be a little too much too soon, but I've been crazy about you since I was 14 years old. Her confession stirs a need inside me. I turn and stalk up the beach with her still in my arms. She tries to wiggle free when we pass the pool, but I hold tighter. That one kiss left me craving more. There's no doubt. I'll always crave more when it comes to Busy.
Chapter 6. Busy. I smooth my hands down my dress, silently thanking Claire for insisting we go shopping. Butterflies flutter in my stomach, and I take a few deep breaths, trying to calm them. I lean in to smell the flowers Shaw brought me this afternoon as I grab my purse and take one last look in the mirror. The rumpled sheets on the bed reflect back at me, and the butterflies go back into overdrive. An hour ago, I woke up in that bed, with Shaw's arms curled around me. After he carried me in from the beach, he took me straight to my room. We spent hours kissing and talking until I fell asleep on his chest as he ran his fingers lazily through my hair. The skin on my neck still tingles where he woke me up with his lips, apologizing that we had to get ready for dinner.
I'm about 5 seconds away from calling Gail to cancel tonight.
He startles me, and my throat goes dry when I catch sight of him leaning against the doorframe. He's abandoned his standard business suit, instead wearing slacks with a button-down open at the neck, his sleeves rolled up to his elbows. I swallow several times, trying to find my voice. His eyes rake up and down my body slowly, stopping when they meet mine.
You look incredible.
Warmth ripples through me at his compliment, and I go to him, lifting on my toes to brush my lips across his. You look very handsome yourself.
I'm serious about canceling.
Should I be insulted that this is the second night in a row you've mentioned canceling? I raise an eyebrow, teasing him. His eyes transform into a smoldering golden color as he licks his bottom lip seductively. My knees go weak as the air thickens between us.
I'm a selfish son of a bitch, Busy, and the thought of sharing you, even for a few hours, is driving me crazy.
There's a huskiness in his voice that has me struggling to breathe. But these are your clients. This is important, I whisper, sounding unconvincing.
Fuck them.
He kisses along my lips.
They'll understand.
We can't, I force out, grasping his arm for support. He seals his mouth over mine until I melt into his body. He presses me close, kissing me deep, his tongue teasing me with gentle strokes until I moan. His body goes solid, and I feel the length of his erection against my stomach. He stops mid-kiss and moves back, his eyes locking with mine. I shudder at the intensity of his stare.
One kiss, one moan, and I'm a fucking goner. Never in my life, ever, have I felt the way I do when you're in my arms. If you can control me with just a kiss, God knows what will happen.
He stops himself and I wait, hanging on his words. His grip loosens as my pulse starts to race. What will happen when? The raw sex appeal I've always felt around him now seeps all the way to my bones. His face breaks into a small smile, and he pecks my cheek before taking my hand in his, lifting it to his mouth and kissing my knuckles.
Your call. Stay or go?
I blink away the haze and reluctantly answer. We should go. He grins at my hesitation and nods.
When we get back, we'll move your things to my room. I want you in my bed tonight.
I pause, my heart coming to a screeching halt, then thundering at his statement. You do? He frowns, his eyes crinkling as he tightens his hold on my hand.
Last night I had you asleep on me until I forced myself to carry you to your room. It sucked watching you sleep in that bed, knowing how you felt lying on top of me. Today when you napped, I got the full experience of having you in my arms as you slept and woke up. I'm not going to miss it again. If you'd rather we sleep in your bed, that's fine, as long as we're together.
Either bed is fine with me, I agree without hesitation.
If we don't leave now, we'll never leave.
Well, I don't want to miss the chance to see you in action. I'm already pretty convinced you're incredible, but the thought of seeing you show this Joe guy, how lucky he will be to have you, isn't something I'm willing to miss. His lips twitch at my statement. He gives a low chuckle and leads me out the door to the elevator. And like last night, he never lets me go. I scrounge through my suitcase and huff, my nerves on edge. After all my packing preparations, there isn't one sexy thing to wear to bed. Clothes are scattered across the bed, the floor, and even the recliner as I look again, trying to find something to wear.
Busy? You okay?
Shaw's voice gets closer, and I know he's milliseconds from coming in. Yes, I squeak, and grab the same pajama set I wore last night. At least he's already seen this.
What's taking you so long?
His warm hands caress my shoulders as his lips brush along my neck. I was looking for something.
Want to tell me what?
He teases.
By the looks of this room, you must have been searching hard.
I twist in his arms and swallow my groan when I come face to face with his defined, tan, bare chest. Even though I ran my hands along every inch this afternoon, I'm still stunned by it. I thought I'd brought a different pair of pajamas, but I didn't. I semi-tell the truth.
Biz, look at me.
I raise my eyes to his and see his face filled with concern.
You okay?
Of course, why?
If you want to sleep in here, if I pushed you too hard, I'll back off.
No, I practically scream. It's not that. I was just hoping I had something sexier to wear in bed, I admit, heat spreading up my neck.
Sexy, huh?
My chest grows tight and my nipples start to tingle. His hands glide up my arms until they're cupping my head and his fingers fist in my hair.
I think you may have missed the part about you being the sexy one. You could wear an old, ragged, ripped t-shirt and I'd think you were the sexiest thing I'd ever seen.
How do you do that? I whisper, my body doing a full shiver. You make me feel like I've never felt before.
Because I mean it. Every word.
I back away and hurry to the bathroom. It takes me twice as long to get ready for bed because I'm a nervous wreck. I wish like hell I'd brought my phone in with me so I could call Claire for a little advice. She'd know what to say to calm me down. I try to think of exactly what she'd tell me and picture her scolding me. Lizbeth Hastings, shake out of it and get yourself together. This is Crenshaw Bennett, the man you've been in love with for years. The same man waiting for you in his bed while you pitter around in this bathroom. I don't even give myself another look before exiting the bathroom and heading to his room. He's watching the door and gives me a crooked grin when I enter, going straight to his side.
I had plans when I woke up this morning, but in my wildest dreams, I didn't think I'd have you in my bed this soon.
He pulls me down and kisses me softly. What do you mean? I mutter against his lips.
I was going to go slow, too slow, get a pulse on where you were, but I've never been good at subtle.
Not that I'm complaining, but what changed your mind?
When I left you sleeping this morning, I couldn't stop thinking about you. My meeting was brutal, so I cut it short, and on my way back here, Nicky called. His protection over you set me off. I didn't want him to worry because you were with me. Then it dawned on me. I don't want anyone to worry, because you will always be safe with me. I decided I'd make my move. When you looked at me on the beach, I cracked. I've never wanted anything as badly as to kiss you right that second.
My insides give a little quiver thinking about that kiss. It was hours ago, but I still feel the buzz of electricity when his tongue swept across my lips. I knew things were changing, but I didn't want to let myself hope. I let his words truly sink in. In my wildest dreams, couldn't stop thinking about you. I don't want anyone to worry because you will always be safe with me. Never wanted anything as badly as to kiss you? Any feelings I was suppressing have exploded, making my heart race. I may have thought I loved him before, but now I can't remember a time when he wasn't everything I ever wanted. It's never been about his money, his position, or his prestige. It's because he's Shaw Bennett, the man who is so deep and so powerful, the man who would walk through fire for those he loves, the same man who can crush someone with just the slice of his eyes, and 10 minutes later send a dying teenager a room full of sports memorabilia of his favorite player. His eyes search mine, waiting for a response as I smooth one hand over his cheek. I consider myself lucky that you're not good at subtle, because this has been the best afternoon of my life. Thank you for giving me that. I fight the sting of tears welling up, but one slips out. He catches it with his thumb and raises an eyebrow.
Why do I feel like there's something you're not saying?
I decide to follow his lead, no holding back. There's a part of me that's scared to believe this is really happening. What if— Shh. He places a finger against my lips.
I know how much we both have at stake here. I've thought about it for weeks. This isn't casual for me. It's the opposite. I may have mentioned I'm crazy about you, but I don't think you understand. Lucky for me, I have a lot of time to show you I'm not going anywhere.
How do you know? There's so much to learn. He holds my stare for a few seconds before dropping his head to my neck. I faintly feel his chest vibrating and realize he's laughing at me. I wasn't being funny. I push against him, trying to force his face to mine. It's useless, and in one quick move, he's twisted to his back, taking me with him. One arm grips my waist while the other slides up, holding the back of my head. He continues to laugh, and I struggle to get out of his grasp.
Stop fighting me, babe.
No, you're making fun of me. I was being serious.
I know. That's what's so funny.
His hand on my head loosens enough to allow me to lean back and see him fully. His eyes dance with humor as he tries to keep a straight face.
Listen to me. I do know you, better than I know myself sometimes. What you're not realizing is this isn't a normal relationship, and I'm fucking ecstatic it isn't. We have 10 years of history. Some of it's sad, some of it's scary, but most of it beautiful. We're not two people meeting for the first time, feeling this out, getting to know each other and pussyfooting around. This is as real as it gets.
What if it goes bad?
It won't.
I can't lose you in my life.
You won't.
I don't have much luck with men.
Thank God. That's about to change.
You're pretty sure of yourself. I give him a small smile and push up, straddling his hips. He scans my face and places his hands on my thighs, squeezing softly.
Your favorite ice cream is mint chocolate chip, and you keep a stash hidden in your freezer, even though you swear every New Year's Eve you're going to give it up. You always agree to watch action flicks, but secretly love raunchy comedies. Every one of Nicky's games you attend, you wear the same bracelets, each one of them a present from him. Every Christmas you make sure Mathis, Nicky, and I all have the exact number of presents to open. You always agree to go camping with us, but secretly, it scares the shit out of you. Claire may drive you crazy, but she's your best friend, and you'd lay down your life for her. And you visit church every year, no matter what the day, on the anniversary of your remission diagnosis, and send your mom flowers to let her know you're thinking of her.
Shaw, my voice quivers.
That's only the tip of the iceberg. I have 10 years of facts and knowledge that I've been storing up. I may have been blind to so many things, but I've never been blind to who you are. This is not getting to know you because I already do, and I love everything about you. It's time to build new memories together. I'm not an idiot. There are things I don't know, but I will, because I vow to discover everything about you. We may have a history, but we now have a future together. One afternoon has changed my entire life. You seem to have a knack for doing that.
I have no words. Actually, I do. I have to bite my tongue from declaring my everlasting love and humiliating myself. So instead of speaking, I throw myself at him and crush my mouth to his, pouring my response into the kiss. He's still at first, then meets me stroke for stroke as our tongues move together. I grind down on him, feeling every inch of his hard erection against my center as his arms fold around me. He breaks away, but I don't stop kissing him, covering every inch of his face with my lips. When I finally reach his ear, I get up the courage I never knew I had. I want new memories with you more than I've ever wanted anything. He gives a throaty moan and twists, so I am once again under him.
So we start now with you in my bed, and tomorrow, when we wake up, we start again.
Chapter 7. Shaw. Our captain gives us the last of the instructions, and I glance around the boat, seeing everyone is at ease with his directions. Except Busy. Her face is so scrunched I would bet money she'd be taking notes if she had a pen and paper. Her lips move, repeating his words, and she gives him a shy grin when he walks by. Everyone sits as the mate helps guide us out of the slip and into the intercoastal toward the ocean. I take out my phone and order an enormous bouquet of flowers and a bottle of wine for Gail, along with a note for her to take Monday off. I make sure to have it delivered today, and then shut my phone off. She did a hell of a job arranging this at the last minute when I called her last night, and I suspect there will be questions when I return to the office on Tuesday. But it was worth it, knowing I now have the next 2 nights and days free of work obligations. After we get off this boat today, it's just me and Busy and a shitload of time alone. Darren Jackson didn't blink an eye when I asked if we could change our Saturday night dinner to a chartered fishing trip. He jumped on the idea. I invited Joe to come with us, knowing how much he enjoys being on the water, and after last night's dinner, he was stoked to spend more time getting to know each other. The only problem was fucking Perry. He took all of 4 hours to decide he fucked up and wanted another chance to talk. I ignored his calls, but when he called Gail, she reluctantly invited him along today. I tried to insist she rescind the invitation, but she laughed at me and refused, reminding me everyone deserves a second chance. I started to argue, but Busy came out dressed for the day, and the argument was the last thing on my mind. She was dressed casually in shorts and a tank top over her bathing suit, but she had her long hair pulled through the back of a baseball cap. She has always been beautiful, but this morning, it was more. She was adorably beautiful. One look and I grew hard, thinking of running my hand through the hair I loved so much as I kissed her again and again. She gave me a knowing grin and was halfway to my outstretched arms when her phone rang. She waved it at me with an apologetic look and went in the other room to talk to her mom. I answered a few emails while I waited and smiled to myself when I heard her tell her mom she was having a fabulous time. Unfortunately, by the time she finished the conversation, we had to hurry to the marina to get to the boat and meet the rest of our party. I met with the captain and mate while she looked around the boat. I was mid-sentence when she started squealing. I whipped around to see Darren had her in a bear hug. She was so small in his massive frame, I immediately worried he was crushing her. But when he put her down, she flashed me a bright smile, her dimple on display. It was easy to get my point across without words when I walked up and wrapped an arm around her waist, staking my claim. Joe chuckled, and Darren gave me a chin lift in understanding. Busy leaned into me, putting one hand on my chest, and gave me a look of surprise. Then her eyes started to shine. I could have stared into the blue-gray hue for hours, loving the fact she was so happy. The only person who doesn't seem to have gotten the message is fucking Perry. He arrived during the captain's welcome and gave a polite wave to everyone. Now he sits on the side of the boat eyeing Busy as she thumbs through a magazine. My chest tightens when he removes his sunglasses, and hangs them on the collar of his shirt. He leans over and says something to her, causing her to look up and give him a polite smile. The boat picks up speed and the wind whips louder, drowning out any chance of hearing them. She turns the magazine around, showing him the front. He points to something and makes some comment, causing her to shake her head. Her ponytail flies to her face, and he reaches over to push it back. It takes less than 1 second for me to get to her side, lifting her out of the chair and sitting us back down, her across my lap. She doesn't have time to react before there's a loud roar of laughter around us. Joe, Darren, and Perry all high-five, and Perry takes out his phone, his fingers flying across the screen.
Did I miss something?
Busy leans in to whisper in my ear. I think we both did. You should have seen your face! Darren points at me, still shaking. Damn, wish I had that shit on video. I didn't even get to use my good stuff. That may have been a record. Perry chuckles and puts his glasses back on. Anyone care to explain? I ask, even though I have a good idea what's coming. I had to believe it to see it. The infamous Crenshaw Bennett. Untouchable, cold as ice, and hard as steel. No one's going to believe this. Perry gives a low whistle. Gale, I look for confirmation. Yes, all three say in unison.
What am I missing?
Busy huffs and narrows her eyes at me. Let me explain. Darren raises his hands in the air like he's in a classroom. So Gale called me this morning to confirm the trip. When I questioned the change in plans, she said she had no details, but suspected, and I quote, Mr. Bennett's taking some personal time with a close friend. She also told me that personal friend would be accompanying us today. It wasn't so much what she said, but how she said it. I've got 3 sisters. I can spot the sound of romance. In Gale, she was all romance. Fucking Gale. That woman scares the shit out of me. Perry gives an exaggerated body shiver. She flat out told me to be on my best behavior or she'd kick my ass. She explained that Mr. Bennett would have a lady friend joining us, and if I pulled an attitude like I did yesterday, she'd personally make me regret it. A low cackle escapes from Busy, and she slaps her hand over her mouth, trying to hide her amusement. Finally, she gives up and laughs out loud.
Gale is the sweetest woman I've ever met. To hear she threatened to kick your ass is hysterical.
Perry, Joe, and Darren all exchange a look and turn to me. I know what they're thinking. It's not only my reputation that's tough. Gale can cut a man off at the knees and smile while doing it. Busy, Gale and I have a reputation to upkeep. Let's not give these guys the wrong impression.
What? She is sweet,
Busy defends. Changing the subject, I pin Perry with a glare. Obviously, you got the reaction you wanted. Are you going to quit flirting with my girlfriend now? He throws his hands in the air innocently. Like I said, I didn't even get to my good stuff. Save it for another woman, Casanova. Touchy, touchy. Be a shame for that pretty face to get damaged right before we start scheduling promo shots for the season. His grin falls slightly, but he straightens his stance and holds my stare. Yeah, that would be a shame, especially since my new agent's fees are going to cut into my plastic surgery fund. I jerk my chin, acknowledging his decision. He knows about my rate hike. He knows he fucked up with his attitude yesterday. But he also knows I'm a great agent, and he wants me to represent him. Busy squeezes my shoulder, pride written all over her face. She knows what happened, and understands the importance of his statement. My usual spike of adrenaline when landing a deal is nothing compared to the way her expression hits me. Without thinking about our audience, I lean in and steal a quick kiss, letting my lips linger a little longer than anticipated. Okay, now I'm definitely going to be Gale's favorite. Not to mention, I have proof. Darren waves his phone at me with a shit-eating grin, showing off the picture he took. When the hell did Darren Jackson, one of the toughest running backs in the NFL, turn into such a sap? Hey man, like I mentioned, I have 3 sisters. Besides, Gale told me to make sure and get pictures. This should make her happy. Jesus, I mutter, dropping my head to Busy's shoulder. She adjusts, rearranging her body to sit up straight.
So guys, tell me about you. I met Joe last night, but we didn't get much of a chance to know each other.
The whole mood shifts instantly. Asking a group of 3 men, especially professional athletes, to talk about themselves is one way to completely change the conversation. For the next hour, I sit and listen to each of them talk about their positions, boasting louder than necessary when trying to outdo the other. I already know almost everything they tell her, since I make it a point to know my clients. But she listens intently, giving them her full attention. When Darren starts talking about his season, she amazes him with her football knowledge. I get that you're dating a sports agent, but damn, you know a shitload about the game.
Oh, Shaw didn't teach me. My best friend Nikki did.
She must be a huge fan, Darren says. Busy snorts and shakes her head, looking over her shoulder at me.
They don't know?
Not by me, I shrug. She turns back to them and starts to explain.
Nikki is a man. He's a player in Miami. You may know him.
Darren slaps his hands together loudly, cutting her off and causing her to jump a little in my lap. Nikki? In Miami? As in Nick Bennett?
That's him.
She nods enthusiastically. The same Nick Bennett that's Crenshaw Bennett's brother? Joe points at me.
That's him. He's how Shaw and I met, really. It was a long time ago, but we've been friends forever.
Shit! Darren runs his hands down his face, then cocks his head to the side. No offense, but that motherfucker gave us the worst loss of the season last year.
I was there. It was a great game.
She reaches over to pat his hand.
Better luck next time.
He moves his hand over his heart, acting wounded. I'm glad we don't have to play them this year. It's still a raw wound.
I'm a nurse, so I can tell you with medical expertise, this kind of wound will heal.
Shit, I need a beer. Darren walks over to the cooler, mumbling something under his breath. The captain yells back that we're approaching the spot, and the mate starts to get our rods ready. Joe and Perry move to him, watching as he prepares.
You know,
Busy twists her body, placing her hands on my chest.
I didn't take you for the possessive type.
Only with you. Not that I have a lot of experience in this area, and I've always been protective of you. But today it was different. Seeing Perry flirt with you set off something I've never felt before. But it felt fucking great.
It really did.
She agrees. So kiss me. She doesn't hesitate to slant her head and lean in, running her lips across mine softly. Too soon, she jumps up, yanking me with her.
Come on, I may be the only woman on this boat, but it doesn't mean I don't want the full experience. Meaning, my turn on rotation.
By all means, I give a little chuckle.
Wait, are you making fun of me?
I'd never. I try my best to hide my grin.
I'm great at fishing.
Biz, we're going to be catching fish that are going to fight like hell. I thought we'd be on rotation together. She narrows her eyes, places her hands on her hips, and cocks her head to the side.
You don't think I can reel in my own catch?
I bite my tongue, trying to avoid her gaze, and search for the right response. Apparently, I think too long, because she clears her throat loudly, waiting for me. Maybe I want to help you? I try weakly.
Try again.
She doesn't buy it at all, giving me an evil stare. Instead of scaring me, it turns me on. I reach out and tag her around the waist, tugging her into me until she's flush against my body. Okay, I'll rephrase. There's no doubt in my mind you can manage. But in the case you start to struggle, it's me helping you reel it in.
What if I can do it myself?
You don't get it, do you? I know you can do it yourself. But it's the perfect excuse to wrap my arms around you, which is exactly where you belong. Her breath hitches, and she grips me tightly.
Shaw.
Her breathy rasp hits me everywhere. Stop, I force out. I can't take it. 6 hours. That's all we have is 6 hours, then I get you back to myself.
6 hours, huh?
Her face takes on a whole new expression, one that makes every nerve in my body sizzle. Her body rubs against mine before she steps back and tips her head, eyes darting between the guys behind us and back to me.
Shaw Bennett, I've been waiting 10 years. 6 hours is nothing.
She saunters away, my eyes glued to her ass. Her perfect, sexy, swaying ass. I'm buying a boat. My brothers and I have been tossing the idea around for a few years, but we've never acted on it. After today, the decision is made. Watching Busy's excitement and hearing her laughter sealed the deal. I'm buying a fucking boat, and I'm taking Busy out every chance we get. And next time, I won't have to share her with anyone. It'll be just us. I take a sip of my beer and turn on my phone, noticing several missed calls from a number I don't recognize. The only message I have is from Mathis, wanting to know if we caught anything. I shoot him a quick text and a picture of the 5 of us with our catches from the day. Then I Google boat sales in Miami. She's really something, Shaw. You need to hold on to her. Barry sits next to me and motions with his head to Busy. I look at her, lying on her stomach with her head resting on her hands. Once we started our ride back, she decided to take advantage of the time to work on her tan. When she slipped out of her clothes, exposing her black bikini, I almost jumped out of my skin, my eyes bulging. She gave me a shy smile and laid down, thankfully shielding most of herself. Now her eyes are closed as she sleeps. I don't plan on letting her go, so don't get any ideas. He gives a little chuckle, shaking his head. Wouldn't dream of it. But if she ever gets rid of your ass, I'll be in line. Afraid you'll be waiting a long time. Wow, that's serious, huh? Absolutely. Gotta say, after our meeting, I did my own research on you. Saw that chick you were with at last year's ESPY Awards. She didn't hold a candle to Busy. You traded up. I wince at the memory, now thinking of the way Busy looked at me when we got in the limo. At the time, I thought she was nervous for Nick since he was presenting and hated public speaking. But now I know better. She was hurt seeing me with a date. Yeah, I'd rather not think about that. There's a pause in the conversation as my mind tries to even remember that night. The only thing I can recall is how we partied late and Busy charmed every one of my clients. My date left soon after the event when she realized I wasn't interested. So, his tone turned serious, pulling me from my thoughts. I owe you an apology. Done. You apologize to Gail, which means you apologize to me. We really gonna do this? You think you can take me to the next level? I noticed the same expression I've seen endless times on my clients. He wants to be reassured he's making the right decision. On the ice, you're in charge. Keep doing what you're doing and kicking ass. Off the ice, stay out of trouble. It's no secret you're a hothead. Your reputation precedes you. I'm not asking you to change because your reputation is part of who you are. I'm asking you to be aware of your surroundings. You've got a lot of people gunning for you, wanting to hit where it hurts. That's the part of this that sucks. I came out of college only wanting to play. I didn't think about the rest of this shit. Now I don't know who I can trust. Unfortunately, that comes with the territory. Men will be nice to your face, waiting to stab you in the back. Women will come after you looking for a way to get your money. Everyone will want a piece of you. You can trust me to always have your best interest in mind. You really going to tack another 10% on the contract? Yep. I take a sip of beer to hide my grin. Come on, man. We're buds now. He drapes an arm around my shoulders and gives me a pitiful attempt at looking sad. I shove him off and shake my head. I said you can trust me, not that I trust you. You have to earn that. Ouch! He falls over, clutching his chest. That hurts. Darren and Joe laugh at him, obviously hearing what was said. My phone starts ringing and Gail's name scrolls across the screen. If it isn't Cupid herself, I say with a smile and walk inside the boat cabin. I'm only Cupid if you finally opened your eyes, she replies. Consider them opened, but something tells me you already knew that. Well, I will say you've been pretty obvious lately. Is that why you're calling on a Saturday afternoon? To check on my love life? Considering you've never had one, I think I deserve to. But sadly, no, that's not why I'm calling. Everything okay? A million thoughts race through my mind. It's not unusual for me to get business calls at all times, and considering my phone's been off, it makes sense the calls would go to Gail. Business-wise, yes. I hate to even bother you, but... Gail. Do you know a Sasha Crane? She pauses, and her hesitation makes the hair on the back of my neck stand. I do. Why? She's trying to get a hold of you. Quite persistently. What does she want? I spit out. Apparently, to talk to you. She's called numerous times today. Your office calls are rolling to me, and I finally answered. I didn't know who she was, and she isn't in any of our client files. She said you weren't answering your cell.
When I explained you were out of town and wouldn't be returning until Tuesday, she assumed you were in Atlanta at Nick's game. Her attitude turned very hoity, insisting I schedule a meeting for Tuesday.
Shit, did you?
Hell no. I told her you were booked. She turned into a royal bitch, telling me she is a lawyer friend and has to speak with you regarding a case.
She's no friend of mine, and I wouldn't call her a lawyer. We have no business relationship.
I know. I researched her while she was ranting about how important she is and that I'd regret it if I didn't do what she said.
How'd you leave it with her?
That's why I'm calling. After she realized her ranting wasn't working and I wasn't intimidated, she changed her tune. She apologized a little too sickly sweet for my taste. It was like she was bipolar. She told me she'd drop by the office next week. She'd like to meet me in person.
Shit. We need to talk to Angie in reception. I don't want her near our office.
Crenshaw, who is this woman?
The use of my first name sets me even further on edge. Her tone is a mixture of worry and aggravation. That woman is a mistake. A past mistake that wants more from me and seemingly didn't take the hint when I walked out her door.
Is she going to be a problem?
No, I'm sorry you had to deal with her.
It's not me I'm concerned about. Maybe you didn't understand me. Is she going to be a problem?
The force behind her words is clear. She's asking about Busy. Absolutely not. She's nothing to me.
Okay, good. So I'll keep playing interference.
Appreciate it, Gail. Don't know what I'd do without you.
You'd never make it. Thank you, by the way, for the flowers.
You deserve them, and so much more after today.
I'll settle for the snapshot that just came through. I like that Darren.
Jesus. I look out the back window and see Darren pointing to his phone and grinning like a fool. Gail, I need another favor.
I must warn you, I'm almost out of miracles. Rearranging your entire weekend took some talent.
I need you to find me a reputable boat dealer. I want something large, but not too large that I can't manage it. It needs to have at least 2 bedrooms. She starts to laugh, and the sound ringing through the line puts a smile on my face.
I'll have something on your desk by Wednesday.
Thank you, Gail. I owe you. We hang up, and I turn my phone off again, heading back outside. I go directly to Busy, who's now awake and propped on one elbow, laughing at something Joe said. She catches my eye and winks, then turns her attention back to Joe. With that one small gesture, the aggravation of Sasha Crane is easily forgotten.
Chapter 8. Busy. Do you want to talk about it? I ask, crawling into bed next to Shaw.
Talk about what?
Whatever that call on the boat was about.
It was Gail calling about a work issue, but it's all taken care of.
You sure?
As far as I'm concerned, it was inconsequential. Someone trying to get a hold of me, but Gail handled it.
You looked pretty annoyed. He reaches over, taking my hand in his and lifts it, kissing each fingertip.
I was aggravated. Some dumbass interrupted Gail's Saturday, which in turn made her worried enough to call me, but we've got it handled.
I get a nagging feeling that there's a lot more to the story, but decide to drop it because, obviously, he doesn't want to share. He tugs me into him and kisses me softly, then leans his forehead against mine.
I also asked her to locate a boat salesman.
Why?
I'm buying a boat. After today, I decided we're going to spend a lot more time on the water.
You enjoyed it that much? I thought you'd been on a charter before.
I have, dozens of times. But today was different. Today I was with you, and seeing how much you enjoyed it made me want to give that to you any time you want.
What? I jerk back to read his face. You can't be serious.
I am serious.
His eyes shine bright. You're buying a fishing boat because I had a good time?
Sure am. But it will be more than a fishing boat. I want bedrooms, a fully equipped galley, and anything else you request.
Do you know anything about boats? He cocks an eye at me with a look of exasperation.
Busy?
No, I mean it. You're talking crazy. He knifes up, twisting fast, and brings me down on my back. He leans on his elbow, and his other hand pushes my hair out of my face as he runs his fingers along my hairline.
Did you have fun today?
You know I did.
So I'm buying one. I think the name Ben Busy has a nice ring to it, don't you?
I suck in a breath at the thought he'd want to combine our names. My pulse starts racing, and I have to bite my tongue to stop the tears that threaten. Is this really happening? Is this kind of happiness possible? When I think I can speak without my voice cracking, I cup his cheek and run my thumb across his bottom lip. I think it's a great name.
Then it's settled.
You have more money than sense, you know that?
Probably. But anything that's within my power and reach that puts a smile on your face, I'm going to do it.
Just so you know, I'm a pretty simple girl.
The only thing simple about you is your modesty. Otherwise, you are deep and passionate, with a loving nature that captures everyone in your web. Anyone lucky enough to be in your presence can feel your warmth. If I had to describe you to anyone, they'd think I was lying because beauty like yours is so rare.
His words sink in, filling me with so much love for this man I want to burst. My hands thread through his thick hair and trail down his cheeks, the stubble on his face leaving a tingle in my fingertips. Shaw? I swallow hard, trying not to lose my courage.
Yes?
Make love to me. Give me something I've dreamed about for years. Prove to me this is real. His eyes grow wide and transform into the most exotic shade of honey as they pierce into mine. The little bit of air between us starts to sizzle with sexual desire. My breathing picks up as he searches my face for any sign of uncertainty. I know he wanted to take this part of our relationship slow, but I don't want to wait. He skims his hand down my neck and across my collarbone, stopping at the strap of my tank.
No going back.
I don't want to go back. I want you. He leans in, running his tongue around my lips. I part them, stroking my own tongue against his teasingly. He takes his time kissing me lazily, then changes his tune, going deeper, possessing me with every swirl until my head is swimming in lust. In the last 36 hours, I've kissed this man more than anyone in my life. This kiss is different. I feel the meaning deep in my soul. He's telling me everything I want to hear without words. This is it. We're crossing into territory we can never return from. His hand travels down to the hem of my shirt and slides underneath, making contact with my skin. Desire and anticipation flow through my veins. I groan into his mouth when he finally runs his thumb over my aching nipple. I arch into him, sliding my foot up his leg and around his waist, forcing his hips into mine. It's his turn to moan when his hard erection brushes against my center. Desire turns into a searing need, and I move my hand slowly down his firm chest and torso, sliding directly into his pants. My fingertips graze over his head, scraping my nails gently. He's so smooth and thick, scorching hot against my palm. I try to adjust so my hand can grip his entire length, but it's impossible. His own hand moves to the other side of my chest, rolling my nipple between his fingers. I pump him up and down, feeling a touch of moisture.
If you do that again, I'll fucking come before I even get inside you,
he growls, tearing away. I freeze when he lowers his face. His eyes have turned the most startling shade of topaz I've ever seen, and they're singeing a hole into me. In a flash, he twists us both, and I have no choice but to release him when he tears my tank top over my head. Instantly, his mouth covers a nipple, and he sucks hard, the stubble on his face scraping against the sensitive skin in a deliciously erotic way. Part of me wants to enjoy every single nip and lick, memorize the way he lavishes my chest. But the other part of me needs more, so much more, as my blood sears through my veins. More, spills out on a ragged breath. Without breaking the connection, he bends on his knees and pushes my shorts down my legs until they're gone. I grip his shoulders as the cool air hits my overheated skin. He touches my hips and stops moving, lifting up to look at me. I'm completely naked and exposed lying under him.
Fucking perfection.
There's an appreciation in his tone that's new. The energy in the room changes again as he lowers himself, kissing and nipping along my skin until he gets to my thighs. He sucks lightly on the inside of one leg, and I whimper. When he spreads my legs and swipes his tongue along my center, I arch into him, crying out at the sensation. He licks me in an agonizingly slow pace, driving me wild. I've had very few lovers, and none of them have ever taken this time with me. No one has ever tried to pleasure me this way. The feeling is unlike anything I've ever experienced. It's intoxicating and addictive. His teeth graze across my clit, and I twist, my hands gripping his scalp. He moves back and uses only the tip of his tongue, then thrusts in, sucking at the same time. His mouth repeats the motion, over and over until I'm panting. Every nerve ending in my body is sizzling. Electric heat travels down my spine, my stomach coiling tight. He grazes my clit once more, and I explode, screaming his name. He doesn't stop, sliding one finger into me, and I come again, my vision going spotty. Waves of pleasure continue to roll through my body. I want to cry when he moves away, but my eyes stay closed as my body quivers from the most intense orgasms of my life. I faintly hear rustling and feel Shah's body come back over mine, covering me skin to skin. His cock twitches against my stomach, and when I open my eyes, he lowers himself to my neck.
One day, very soon, I'm going to spend the entire night licking you. I'll fuck you with my tongue until you beg me to stop. That was the sexiest thing I've ever seen in my life. But I'm a greedy bastard and I can't wait another second to get inside you.
I lower my eyes and see he's rolled on a condom and is now positioned perfectly between my legs. Even with my mind still hazy, I shiver in excitement.
Tell me this is still okay, Busy.
I want you. My arms and legs circle around him, opening myself completely. He slides in gently, his eyes locked with mine. Inch by inch he sinks into me, and I fight not to clench down. I force myself to focus because I have to remember this moment forever. He stops, lowering himself to his elbows and cradles my head, kissing me tenderly.
You okay?
Yes, I whisper, wanting all of him. His hips jerk, entering me all the way. I cry out at the invasion, immediately feeling him everywhere in my body. He freezes, concern etched on his face. I'm okay, I swear. Give me a second. As soon as the words are out of my mouth, I relax and adjust to him, my muscles contracting around his thickness. He hisses, and a groan rumbles from his chest.
You're so fucking tight. Jesus, it's like heaven.
He starts to move, slowly at first, then picks up speed, surging in and out. I squeeze my legs around his waist, throwing my head back as each thrust hits me so deep I can't stop the noises escaping. Every movement causes a ripple of pleasure so intense I struggle to hold on. My release builds again, and I moan, swiveling my hips to his.
Oh, fuck, baby. Tell me you're close.
God, yes. Two things happen at once. Somehow, he balances on one elbow and moves his free hand to my chest, pinching my nipple. At the same time, he puts his mouth to my neck and bites down lightly, leaving a small sting. I scream as I shatter around him, barely hearing him growl as he plunges deep and stills, his cock pulsing inside me. There are no words as he starts to glide gently, both of our chests beating together. My legs unclasp and loosen around his waist, but I can't let go.
I'm ruined. Fucking ruined.
He mumbles into my ear. Pretty sure I am too, I breathe out. We stay connected for a while, his head cradled in my neck, while I draw lazy patterns on his back.
Baby, you're making me hard again.
He shuffles his hips.
I need to get rid of this condom.
Okay. His lips move over mine as he rolls away, and I almost cry at the loss of his body heat.
Round 2 will be much slower than round 1. Get ready.
He gives me a seductive grin and disappears into the bathroom. I do an all-over body tremble, ready for round 2 and 3.
Are you sure you don't want me to take you somewhere special for dinner?
Sean nibbles on my ear, tightening his hold around my stomach. You know that would require we get dressed. I motion to myself, only wearing his t-shirt.
Fuck that idea. We'll order room service.
Nicky's game starts in an hour, I remind him.
For the first time in my life, I don't give a shit about Nick's game.
Shaw, he'd be crushed.
Not if he knew what I was doing. He'd totally understand.
Well, I can't miss it. He'll kill me, and you.
So I had a ton of plans scheduled for you today, and we missed them all. Spa, shopping, complete pampering. Sorry I ruined them.
I told you before I didn't want to leave the suite. It's been quite relaxing. I brush my hand over his shorts and between his hip bones, growing confident when his cock thickens under my touch.
Busy,
he growls, grabbing my hand and cupping himself.
See what you do to me?
Oh, yeah, I like what I do to you.
Pretty sure I need to run to the store for more condoms.
Ugh, I huff and throw myself across his lap. For a man who had a plan, you didn't plan very well.
I didn't guess this would happen.
He kisses my lips tenderly.
A man can dream, but he can never dream this.
I'm still wondering how this happened, I mutter softly against his mouth.
This happened because a cocky bastard who never thought this was possible finally opened his eyes and noticed the woman of his dreams was right in front of him.
I go still, his words seeping into my body. For such a strong, demanding, and powerful businessman, you sure are sweet.
Only with you, baby. From this day forward, only with you.
I reach up and seal my lips to his again, soaking in the gravity of the moment. The air starts to heat with sexual tension when I run my foot along his thigh and under the leg of his shorts.
Biz?
He says into my mouth.
Condoms.
I'm on the pill. I know it sounds cliché, but I feel safe with you. He stills and lifts up, his eyes roaming my face.
You are safe with me, always. Are you sure?
I nod, running my hands through his hair, and feel the most confident I ever have in my life. Yes, I trust you. He has us both naked in under a minute, kissing every inch of skin his mouth touches. I moan, unashamed, when he slides into me for the first time without any barriers. He goes slow, tilting my hips and sinking deep, then drops his forehead to mine.
I'm never letting you go,
is the last thing he says before shattering my world apart, over and over again.
Chapter 9. Shaw.
It's so beautiful. I'm sad we're leaving.
Busy sips her coffee, staring at the ocean from the balcony. There are a few early morning walkers and surfers on the beach, but otherwise, it's pretty empty. She sighs wearily and places her cup on the table between us. Without knowing it, she's given me the open door to discuss something that's been on my mind since we woke up on Saturday morning. Sleeping next to her each night, seeing her face first thing every morning, has become a habit I don't want to break. Not to mention the fact that I have all access to her body. Now that I know what it feels like to sink deep into her any time, it's not something I'm willing to give up. Ever. I go over to her, pulling her gently out of her chair and into me. My hands move to her lower waist, settling on her hips. She drapes her arms around my shoulders and looks at me with her eyes full of sadness. A burst of pain hits me square in the chest at the sight. You know, I have a very similar view from my balcony at home. We could have mornings like this every day. Her eyes scrunch until the reality of what I've said washes over her. She drops her arms and stumbles back, but I don't let her go far, dropping my hands to her ass and steadying her.
You aren't suggesting...
I could be.
You can't be serious.
Before you let your imagination run wild, hear me out. I've thought this through, and when we get back to Miami, it's going to suck getting back into our routines. I work days and you work nights, but the nights you aren't working, I want you in my bed. If you'll give me that, I promise coffee service on the balcony each morning you're there. Her lips tip up in a sexy grin as she lifts up on her toes, running her mouth along mine.
Coffee service, huh? You're going to bribe me with coffee on your balcony?
She wiggles against me, and my cock instantly hardens. Did you hear the part about waking up in my bed?
Mm-hmm.
She nips lightly along my jawline. So you know that means you'll also be naked with me deep, deep inside you.
That sounds tempting. What else?
Her lips move to kiss the corners of my mouth, and she swivels her hips into mine. I clasp her tighter, stopping her movements before I lose control. My dick is throbbing, begging for release. If you don't stop, I'm going to bend you over this balcony and we'll miss our flight. She giggles, her lips smiling against mine.
I'll behave.
Only until we get home. Then all bets are off. Mathis and Nick will have to make other plans for the night. She freezes, her body jerking as her arms fall to her sides. Her eyes lock with mine, and I don't like what I see. A look of panic crosses her face as she steps back out of my grasp. I give her a second, and when she turns away, avoiding any further eye contact, my heart starts to race. Busy?
I don't think we should tell the guys yet.
She says it so fast, I shake my head to make sure I heard her right. Why?
I think we should keep this between us for a while.
Like a secret? Her head swings to me and she chews on her bottom lip, barely nodding. You want us to hide this? Hide us? What the fuck? She falls down in a chair and leans her elbows on her knees, hanging her head.
Because we're so new. What happens if this weekend was a fantasy and when we get back to reality it all falls apart?
My heart races faster, and my blood pressure starts to spike. A muscle in my jaw ticks as I mentally count to 10 before I respond. It doesn't calm me. Instead, my anger fuels at her assumptions. You think this isn't real? Everything we've said, everything we've done? All of this? Do you have that little faith in us? I throw my arms out, motioning to our surroundings. This is the most real thing I've ever experienced in my whole life. I thought you felt the same way. Guess I'm a fucking idiot.
No, Shaw, that's not what I meant.
Her face is pale when she finally meets my gaze. I suggest you fucking explain really fucking quick because I'm lost.
We left Miami as friends. Great friends. To everyone else, I tagged along on a work trip. How's it going to look when we return as lovers? How do we even explain it?
We don't because it's no one's goddamn business.
You know that's not how it'll work.
She stands, squaring off with me. Her eyes start to shine, but she pushes on.
We have too much at stake here. Friends, family, everything.
You think I don't know that? For fuck's sake,
Thought I handled the shit on Friday night.
I'm not fucking around. I came here not knowing if I'd ever have a chance with you, and I accepted that. But with that first taste of you, that first kiss, I was done. I'm crazy about you.
Thought we were in this together, Busy. Thought you understood.
I'm 30 fucking years old. I've been around the block a few times, so it's not like this is some fling. You always meant something to me, but I was too blind to see. Now you don't mean just something to me. You mean everything.
Am I alone here?
Going too fast? Pushing too hard? Did I read the signals wrong? Because I'm in love with you. And if you don't feel the same way, now's the time to say it. She draws in an audible breath and wraps her arms around her stomach, staring at me as my chest heaves. Tears start to fall right before she lunges at me, curling her whole body around mine. My hands catch her as I take a step back to steady us both. Warm drops fall on my cheeks as she cups my face and crashes her mouth to mine.
In, kiss, love, kiss, with, kiss, you, kiss, too,
kiss. Her lips linger on mine longer as she slips her tongue through, touching mine lightly, then leaning back too soon.
I do feel the same,
she whispers. Warmth floods through my body, and the anger disappears. Jesus Christ, baby. I squeeze tight. Don't ever do that shit to me again. Her head drops to my shoulder, and she sniffs a few times, trembling against me.
I'm sorry, Shaw, but please understand where I'm coming from. I'm so scared.
Scared of what? Tell me and you'll never be scared again. There's so much truth to the statement. Me pleading with her to tell me everything.
Most people don't go away on a weekend trip and come back in love.
We're not most people. She leans back, her eyes shining bright, the tears almost dried.
I don't want to hide, but can we wait until the next monthly dinner night and explain it to the guys?
Mathis already knows my feelings. He called me out before we left. And obviously Gail knows something. She narrows her eyes, then starts to laugh, throwing her head back.
Claire will know the minute she sees me.
So it's just Nick?
And our parents.
Why wait, Busy?
Nicky is a bit protective. I think we need to ease him into this.
He's almost 25. He's a big boy. She gives me a skeptical look and puts her forehead against mine.
You may not understand. You may never understand, but I need to plant the seeds with him. He may be a big, tough football player, and even more of a macho ass with the guys, but he's very protective of me. I'd like to do this my way. It means a lot.
Well, shit. When she looks at me with such love and concern, I falter. To me, Nick is a powerhouse. But in reality, the woman in my arms, the woman I love, is also his best friend, the one woman he'd die for. So understanding starts to sink in. I'm not happy about this, but we'll do it your way. Next MDN, everyone knows. I mumble.
Agreed. I'll make it up to you, promise.
I'll hold you to that. And when we finally let the secret out, we'll talk about you moving in.
Shaw!
Don't say another word. I've agreed to too much already. Now is when you kiss me, declare your devotion, and spend the next 15 minutes convincing me I wasn't just cock-blocked by my baby brother.
Oh, I can assure you, your baby brother will never block your cock. But after today, let's never mention the two in the same sentence again.
She starts to nibble on my ear and kiss her way down my jaw. Then she shocks the hell out of me, erasing all coherent thoughts.
When we get home tonight, I'll finally have access to all my lingerie. Maybe it will finally get some use.
This night has taken a turn for shit. I sit in Busy's living room, cramped in her shitty armchair, watching Nick and Claire look at her pictures. If it were up to me, we'd have ditched everyone the moment we walked into her apartment. But Nick had other ideas. He wanted to discuss the game yesterday, never being dissuaded when I explained we watched every second of it. Then Claire showed up with bags of takeout. I'd have fallen for her best friend/interested routine until she took one look at my scowl. She darted her eyes between Busy and me for a good 10 seconds before settling down and insisting Busy upload the pictures to her computer so she could see them better. I knew she was testing me. It was hard to swallow my aggravation until I saw Busy's excitement. She gave me a knowing look, and I relented, sitting in the chair while she gave a rundown of the weekend, minus the sex, the intimacy, and the declaration of love. Nick whoops, standing proud, when Busy tells about her meeting with Darren and his reaction to last year's game. Mathis comes over, handing me a beer, and nudges me, jerking his head to the back porch. No one gives us a second glance when we walk out, too involved in Busy's stories. What's up? I don't waste time when we get outside. You went for it. I look behind me to make sure Nick is occupied, then turn back to my brother's questioning eyes. Yeah, you got a problem? No, she looks happy. Happier than I've ever seen her. So did you, before Claire came storming in here. She's a nut. She's a hot nut. You've got to be kidding me. You have a thing for the nutcase nurse? He shrugs and gives me a look of indecision. We're not talking about me. We're talking about you. Busy wants to keep us quiet, ease Nick into it. She's concerned about his reaction. Why? Fuck knows. If it was up to me, we'd be moving her in tomorrow. Mathis chokes mid-sip and spews his beer everywhere. What the fuck? Move her in? Hell yeah. Are you insane? In a way. I'm insane about her. She's worried about Nick. Understandable. He's going to go apeshit. He'll get over it. He'll only get over it if you're serious. I've never been more serious in my life. He stares at me, searching for something. Then his face breaks into a wide, cocky grin. I'll be damned. Yep, is the only response I give. Must have been some resort to turn the notorious jackass who's never uttered the word commitment into a fully taken man. It's not the resort, it's the woman, you dumb fuck. Huh, I'll have to remember that. He takes another swig of his beer, still smiling. So are you satisfied, or do you want to gossip some more? I'm done for now. But why don't you fill me in on the actual business side of the trip? The door opens, and Nick comes out, rolling his eyes. What are you two talking about? Hopefully something more interesting than breaking down the hotness factor of Joe Palos, Perry Carver, and Darren Jackson. A low, throaty rumble escapes, and Mathis starts to cough to cover my jealousy. Shaw was telling me about the weekend. He shoots me a look, telling me to get it together. I glance over my shoulder and catch Busy watching me through the window. She purses her lips, trying to hide her amusement. I raise an eyebrow and give a slight nod to let her know it's not funny. She throws her head back laughing, and Claire starts shaking her finger at me. It takes all the willpower I have not to stalk to her, throw her over my shoulder, and haul her to the bedroom, showing her exactly how I feel about her discussing the hotness factor of other men, especially the same men who took every opportunity to razzle me by flirting their asses off with her. The thought of teaching her a lesson and showing just how possessive I am sends a message to my dick, which starts to twitch. Images of her writhing under me as I fuck her until she begs for mercy, then pounding every thought of other men out of her head, play through my mind. My tongue darts out, licking my lower lip and pinning her with my eyes. As if she knows every dirty thought flowing through my mind, she stops laughing, and her face starts to flush. Oh yeah, I'm definitely... Shaw, did you hear me? Nick's irritated voice breaks me out of my sexual haze. Nope, I was thinking about work. I lie, turning to him. It's going to be a bitch this week. I'd think you'd be the golden boy for at least a month with the clients you just landed. Well, now the real work begins. I focus on my brothers and explain the upcoming contracts that need to be drafted, the change of representation press releases, and the initial outreach to endorsement holders to explain the changes, not to mention my current roster of clients. We talk for a while longer, and eventually join Busy and Claire back in the house. I almost kiss Mathis when he finally decides it's time to go. Since he's my ride, I force myself to leave, whispering in Busy's ear that I'll be back soon. Tonight, we're staying at her house. She nods, flushed again, and moves out of my hug to walk us all out. It kills me when we drive away, but I know in less than 1 hour I'll have her again. Naked and calling my name. The bed, the wall, the sofa. Oh yeah, all of it sounds good.
Chapter 10. Busy. I make my last note, close the patient chart, and stack it with the others, then drop my head down on the desk. It's been a long shift, filled with highs and lows. My heart aches as I remember Nurse Evie sitting down next to me in the lounge on my first break. It was obvious something was wrong, so I braced for the worst. When she told me Grady wasn't responding to the small amounts of natural medicines, I knew there was no more hope. Hearing the news reconfirmed why I became a nurse. So I spent a little more time with each child, telling jokes, playing cards, and coloring pictures. It was as much for them as it was for me. I needed the time with them, knowing there was a level of pain and discomfort, but at the same time, a sliver of hope in their eyes. It took every bit of energy I had to finish the charting, and I wish I could snap my fingers and be home in bed, and preferably with Shaw holding me. "You're supposed to come back from vacation rested. You look terrible." Claire plops down beside me and lays her head on her arms. "I probably should have slept yesterday, but I couldn't. Now I'm paying for it. I'll bounce back. Another shift should do it. I brought clothes. I'm coming home with you." "Okay." "We're sleeping for at least 6 hours. "Sounds good," I mumble. "Then you're going to tell me every single detail of your weekend." "Thought I already did that." "I want the scandalous stuff. Don't think you're getting off that easy. Although, by the look of you when you started this shift, I'd say you've been getting off a lot with Shaw Bennett." She cackles at her own joke, and I jump out of my chair, making sure no one heard her. Unfortunately, no such luck. Nurse Evie is less than 5 feet away. She covers her mouth too late to disguise her grin. The corners of her eyes crinkle when she gives a little laugh. "Shh! Will you lower your voice?" I slap Claire's arm. "Ow! What's your problem?" "I'm not ready to announce our relationship yet," I hiss. All humor disappears from her expression. "You can't be serious. Why the hell not?" I glance at my watch and see we have 10 more minutes before the shift ends, so I motion for her to follow me. When we get into the nurse's lounge, I give a silent thanks we're alone. Then I proceed to explain my logic of being secretive about our relationship. Instead of the look of understanding I was expecting, her face morphs into a look of horror. She crosses her arms, staying silent and glaring. "What?" "That is the most asinine and juvenile idea you've ever had in your life. You are an adult and free to date whomever you want. Nicky may be shocked, but he would be an idiot to get upset. He loves you both and will be over the moon happy." "But what if something happens and this goes wrong? It's still so fresh and new. The novelty may wear off soon, and I'd rather not have the awkwardness." "For the love of God, can't you let yourself feel happiness for once? You've wanted this for as long as I've known you. Don't ruin this because of stupid insecurities. Why can't you see yourself the way we all do?" "I'm not being insecure, I'm being cautious." "Bull fucking shit," she deadpans, staring a hole into me. "Seriously, Claire, I'm totally comfortable with myself. I've left the past in the past." "Start acting like it. I saw the way that man looked at you the other night. I felt the intensity of his feelings the second I walked through the door." It's still new. I try to remain strong. How does Shaw feel?
Not happy, I admit.
Damn, Busy. For someone who claims to love your friends so much, you really don't give us much credit.
That's not true.
Okay, how's this for a scenario? What if the situation was reversed? What if Nicky met someone special and kept it from you?
Not even the same thing. This is his oldest brother. He adores Shaw, always has. If this turns out to be nothing, I don't want to cause strife between them.
My argument sounds stupid slipping from my lips. That's ridiculous. How long do you plan to keep this a secret?
Her words slam into me, sending a chill down my spine. You make it sound so dirty.
No, that's the way you are making it sound. You're not being fair to anyone in this situation, and I personally can't believe you.
Why are you being so nasty about this?
I grip the back of a chair as guilt floods through me.
I need you to be on my side. Maybe show some understanding.
There are a lot of rules I take as your best friend, and one of them is to tell you when you're being an idiot. This is one of those times. Shaw's not the kind of man that stays hidden. Hell, he was practically shooting laser beams full of sexual tension in the room the other night. Each time he looked at you, it was as if you were the only one he could see with all of us there. There's so much chemistry, I got turned on. You're making a mistake here, one you can't come back from.
Her words hang in the air, then hit me full force. She's right. I love Shaw, love him in a way that will never, ever be replaced. Even if things between us don't work out, I'll always have him in my life. He's a part of my past and hopefully my future. Being discreet about our relationship is ludicrous, I admit out loud.
Hell yeah, it is!
Claire waves her hands in the air.
Thank God I got through your thick head. You can thank me by introducing me to Perry Carver when he's in town.
I grab one of her hands, yanking her into me, and blow a loud raspberry on her cheek. She tries to push me away, but I hold tighter. She smacks me playfully on the back, mumbling about being a stubborn ass and getting the hell off her. We both stop moving when a throat clears behind us. I'm prepared to face any number of doctors or nurses we work with scowling at us. Instead, I turn and my heart drops to the floor. Shaw is standing propped against the doorframe, watching us with a smirk on his handsome face. My knees go weak as I take him in. He's dressed for work in a black suit and no tie, his shirt open at the neck and showing off his tan skin against the stark white of his shirt. My mouth starts to water as I ogle him shamelessly.
Fuck, it's getting hot in here.
Claire nudges me, breaking my stare, and fans herself dramatically.
I was thinking the same thing,
Shaw comments.
I'll get my things and meet you at the desk.
Claire breezes by, leaving us alone.
Hey, what are you doing here?
I brought you some breakfast. Thought I'd take you home before I head into the office. Evie told me you two had snuck off in here, so I came to find you.
That was really sweet. I walk to him and rise on my toes to kiss the underside of his jaw. You didn't have to do that.
He leans down and kisses me again, then tugs at my ponytail, urging my face to his.
How was your first shift back?
Long, but good.
I missed you last night.
Missed you too.
Didn't sleep for shit.
I'm sorry.
You ready for me to take you home?
What about my car?
I'll bring you back at 7.
Claire's coming with us. She's gonna crash at my apartment and wants details of our weekend.
What kind of details?
You know, dresses, dinners, and dreams coming true. His thumb brushes gently across my chin, barely touching my bottom lip.
I like the sound of this conversation.
I want to tell Nicky and everyone. I blurt out and watch his face closely.
He doesn't show surprise. Instead, his lips tip up in a mischievous grin.
Good thing I invited my brothers and parents to dinner Saturday night.
You didn't.
Absolutely did.
What about waiting? You promised me we'd do this my way.
We did. And by the time Saturday rolls around, it'll be almost a week since I got my first taste of that sweet puss.
I cover his mouth and peek over his shoulder to make sure we're still alone. Stop. He opens his mouth, touching his tongue to my fingers, and my body zings to life. All exhaustion is gone, and I wish like hell we were at home.